All right, college football frenzy. Shane loves how I say that. Steve, you haven't been on a more fun show than this show. Period. Well, although no, I'll take it back. Rebel
Every
Republic.
show I do is
Rebel Republic is an unbelievably fun show.
Yeah, well,
that's usually because we play. Shane, last time we were on Republic, this is what music came on, and Frank, who I don't know if Shane knows Frank, but
no, he doesn't.
And Frank started talking like he was in the this music came on. I put this on.
I said,
now coming to the stage.
Yes.
He's on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were teasing Steve. He was teasing Steve. Anyway, so college football and we'll get Steve, don't worry, we'll get to what you want.
We're good. Yeah. I'm excited for this week. But I was shocked by the news yesterday.
What news?
Mac Brown
retiring?
Fired.
He's fired? Oh, wow, I didn't see that.
Oh, it's college football frenzy, and you didn't see that. Someone did his homework.
You know what college football frenzy is? Yeah. We do 10 minutes of breakdowns, and then we talk about shenanigans for the next hour.
Someone did his homework. Yeah.
Well,
Mac Brown.
That's not too friendly either.
You know, there's
right before Thanksgiving.
The Temple coach got fired too, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or is getting fired? I heard he's because I heard that I don't know if he is getting fired. Well, I heard that someone told me that he's gonna get fired if he's not fired. Mac Brown getting fired is
I think it's outrageous, but
but they got to get him out because they're struggling. So
they were. I know this year, but I mean they've been good the last couple years. They're 6-5 this year. It's North Carolina. You're in the ACC. Like, what do you expect
them to go 10-0?
Like, it's not a conference that you're gonna win 8 games, 9 games every year.
This is the world, but this is the world. North Carolina.
No, I know.
You know what? North Carolina is funny. North Carolina football is funny because they think they're a football school, and they've had some great years.
And some great players.
Great Lawrence Taylor, right? Great. I can't believe Lawrence Taylor. I always wondered, did Lawrence Taylor actually go to class at North Carolina? Because that's like a high academic school.
There's no way he went to class.
No way. No, he must be from North Carolina too, I'm guessing. So
right.
That's why he went there.
I believe he's from the South, yes.
They were like, lower the standards. He has to get in.
You got to get him in. Yeah,
I mean, they take athletes down there, man. They did with Julius Peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Drake May.
But it's a basketball state. It's truly a basketball state.
Absolutely.
First.
It's
much like UConn. Only they have better football.
It's just like UConn. Yep.
And Kentucky. Like, so in the South, North Carolina and Kentucky are the basketball states, quote unquote.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Yes.
And so the same thing happens to you, and especially UNC with the history. You can kind of relate to it. UConn is kind of like a smaller version, not on the basketball side, but I mean the smaller version, school size wise, of North Carolina and Kentucky. They have the same issues.
We don't get as much support in football as they do. That's the thing.
That's the issue, is that they have the ability to have the support. So does Kentucky, but the mindset. It's the mindset of the people that are contributing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Duke has that issue too, even though football is good.
Duke has just gotten really good. Yeah.
But Duke's a little different in that they have such a good school that if you can get the right mix of, people will come there if you get the right mix of players that are good and that are good students. Because you can be really good, like they've been.
And they all have money too.
They all have money.
And we do. I mean, our alum they're doing well too.
Well,
that's a great point, Shane. That's a really Duke has so much money in their alumni. It's like Princeton, Yale, Harvard type of deal. So if they really want to, like when they really want to go in, like they've helped football a lot in the last couple of years, they have the ability to do it. So even though it's a basketball school, it don't really matter because they could probably do things.
Yo, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. It don't.
It don't matter.
Out in him.
That's right, the jersey.
Dude,
It's
that
like
is crazy though. That Mac Brown. I mean, before Thanksgiving. I mean, does he obviously cares? But
well, I mean, he's in his 70s. He's been there 15 years now. I thought he turned the program around. I mean, they've been much better with him there.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, he's still coaching.
Been there 15 years.
Yeah, I believe so.
I didn't realize it was that long.
But he's still coaching. Like he's coaching the game tomorrow, and he's allegedly coaching
the finish.
He was there. He got there in 2018.
Oh, okay. So I was way off.
Just a few.
Okay, maybe I didn't do my homework. Okay.
Take another long pull. It'll come to you. Take another long pull.
I thought he had been there longer. He's 73, and
that's crazy. I mean, God. So he's coaching this game this week.
Yeah, he's coaching tomorrow. Yeah,
man, that's a rough one.
Steve, you know what's so funny when I see you smoke cigarettes? It reminds me of my childhood. I don't know how PA may be more of like a dip place, but I don't know. But
no, they smoke cigarettes.
They did. Oh, they did. Yeah, okay. Because I figure Raggedy might be a little bit more like
PA. You could still smoke in bars up until like 10 years.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you go to dive bars, you're smoking in bars.
Yeah.
Yes,
really. So like in my town, dude. I just remember like come off the football games like
at halftime.
Oh, I would do that in college.
Yeah,
I would do
like
that
you're
in
in for an 80-yard touchdown. Why is your ear so terrible over here? 300 people are smoking cigarettes.
It wasn't a fog machine either.
It was fog machine.
I did that. I smoked all through UConn.
Smoke.
Yeah.
And that was my town, at least.
You look like Austin Powers. This is me in a nutshell.
That's right. This is me in a nutshell. How did I get in this nutshell? See, Steve, you got to be quick with the TV references. We were. Yeah. This was now.
Austin Powers. Why? Wow.
Yes, yeah. Steve, I've learned a lot about like what your dorm life was like, and it is disturbing.
How did you find out what my dorm life was like?
Well, you've let some of these things out a little bit.
Oh, I did. Yeah, if you had Chris Hill was on for like 20 minutes longer, he would have blown your mind.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Well,
Chris Hill was my RA. Okay, and I got him fired.
I could only imagine. Well, and you're an offensive lineman, and you know offensive linemen do offensive lineman shit. So they have a unique culture, right?
We take a beer in the dorm. I'm sure
we basically got him fired because my friend Ed and I, both offensive linemen, both fat. He had the best room. We'd just go into his room, sit on his leather couch, and play video games all night and eat his food and drink all his drinks.
Yeah, y'all had those nice dorms.
No, this was at Hale. This was when it was.
Okay.
Oh, you were a Hilltopper originally?
Yeah, I was a Hilltop guy. Yeah.
Okay.
But once we got there, his GPA, he got put on Act Pro. He dropped to like 1.8, and he lost his RA job because of it. So I always take credit for him losing his RA job.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah,
but he's a UConn basketball super fan, and his dream came true yesterday when he got to come on with Joe D, and then Joe D agreeing with him. He will be talking about that for the rest of his life.
Shane, Joe D referenced you again yesterday. Remember?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I agreed with him.
What did he say?
Yeah, you did agree with him. Yeah, he said
there's only three quarterbacks.
I asked him.
You thought Charlie?
I said if Dan Orlovsky was the quarterback, today, could they throw the ball over the yard? He said there's only 3 quarterbacks in the history of UConn that if they need to throw the ball over
I
the
would have
yard,
trusted. Yes.
that he would trust to be able to throw the ball over the yard. It was you, Dan Orlovsky. Do you know what the third is? I'm curious if you.
He does.
I would say it's got to be DeGennaro, no?
Correct.
Yeah.
DeGennaro. And then I said there's a fourth. I said there's a fourth.
Yes, you
But
did.
he only played 1 year.
Because of the concussions, right?
No, because he was behind DeGennaro. And that was Cornelius Benton.
Yes.
He just played on a bad team. He played on a bad team. Not bad, meaning like they didn't win 1 game bad, but they were like, I think 4 win, So, and if you look, Cornelius Benton still like for single season. He's up in like, he has, I think maybe some records, and he's up there in a lot.
Yeah. His name popping up there.
Yeah, but he only started 1 year because he was behind Matt DeGennaro.
Okay.
So,
but Joe still put Shane as the GOAT.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're
That's
the GOAT.
nice of him. Don't worry, his check's in the mail.
Yeah.
I just keep on giving him money to say nice things.
He does. He
believes it, dude. There's no doubt. He has you as number one.
He always puts you number one.
He asked. I don't dare ask those questions about myself because I don't need to blow my ego up at all. So, but
I ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Steve Curley
let it down when he crushed me on we ran the option in the spring game and I slipped, but he swears to God he laid me out.
Blew
I was trying to cut back on him and my feet went out from underneath me and he just stands on top of me. He's like,
Shane, that's the first problem right
don't
there.
Ever run that option.
You should never be running the option.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Stafford should never be running
not
option.
An option guy. Not an option guy. But
I had a pet peeve as a linebacker with people trying to some coach would try to out athlete me because I was a good athlete.
Yeah, especially
pissed me off.
You playing Will. What'd you weigh then? Like 230?
I was like 230. Yeah,
somewhere around there. And
you played all. I thought you played all positions.
Well, I only played linebacker 2 years, but my junior year I played all 3 because I was really the 4th guy most of the year. So I was playing, probably about half the game, but I was playing all the positions, when guys needed to blow. And then I started at the end of the year at Sam. And then this next year, I was supposed to start at Will. And then in camp, they moved me to Sam because they were pissed off at Dexter Martin, God rest his soul. They were pissed off at Dexter because Dexter was he was actually a phenomenal football player. He started from the time he was a freshman, but he
was strong too.
He was very strong.
For no reason, kind of grown man strong.
Grown man strong. He's probably 40, but had good speed, and he was athletic, but he was not a worker. Let me put it like that.
I thought they put you at Sam because you were a coverage guy. You were good in coverage.
Well, no, in our defense, the Will was more.
The Will was it? Okay.
So I was originally supposed to be a Will, but they were pissed off. We had Shem. I forgot Shem's last name. Shem Allen, who was really. I never got that. I knew he was a good athlete. I just never got it as far as because I just thought he was too light.
He was way too light.
He was 195 pounds, so they wanted him to play Will. Yeah. So I thought it was a mistake because you would have had a 230 at Will, and then you would have had Dexter. Who cares if he this is how I thought about it. I didn't give a fuck if Dexter ever practiced. He was still going to be ahead of a lot of the he was a senior. I was a 5th-year senior, I was. But Holtz. We were not Holtz's guys. Shem was, Gucci was behind, who ended up being started next year, was one, Shane's good, really best friend at the time, was there from the same hometown. Those were the guys that he was trying to get ready, and we were kind of in the way. So he moved me to Sam because he was really pissed they were pissed off. Probably Rapone was probably pissed off at Dexter.
Yeah, and he just wasn't a worker, so they didn't like.
He was a terrible worker. Yeah. Dexter probably never. He practiced, but he probably
Okay.
drank until about an hour before practice, and
Well,
and he
it's stores. There's nothing to do in
or
stores. We used to go to the electric blue.
yeah, and he only lifted when you made him lift. But
Right.
I could tell you this, like genetically,
Yeah.
like he was still built, dude. Like
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to explain it.
He was like my friend Uwe. Uwe's a monster.
But
and
we
he doesn't
probably
have to-
worked out. Just
But
seeing how
even now, like he doesn't touch a weight, and he still
Oh,
looks like
really?
a Greek god. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't a Greek god. He was a little but he was just strong and he was athletic. But anyway, so they moved me there before the first game, like literally like a week and a half before.
Not
the first
even
game.
during camp. Wow.
In camp. And then Brad Keatley got hurt, like literally the week of the first game. And we had a scrimmage that week before, and Keatley was hurting, so they sat him out. And I played middle linebacker, and I had 15 tackles at middle linebacker in like the little I don't know how I can't remember how they did it back then, but it was like a game scrimmage thing. And they're like, oh, maybe we should play at middle. This was our linebacker meetings. Which, by the way, Hargraves became one of the great linebacker coaches in America.
Yeah.
But at the time, he was still pretty young.
Yeah.
But he was still really good. He was a great linebacker coach.
Isn't he there now?
No,
he's not. Okay.
No.
Okay.
But so he decided to. So he was under a lot of pressure because he wasn't really Holtz's guy either. Eventually, that's why he went to Miami. But he was under a lot of pressure. So he decided that he wasn't. He agreed with them, even though Dexter was really his guy, and he moved me to. He said, "You know what? Keatley's probably going to come back for the first game. You go to Sam, and then Dexter was going to be the backup." And that was like I thought a bad move.
Who played Mike?
Politically.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad political moves that year.
That year. Yes.
That year, because we were ranked really high preseason, because the year before we were 8-3, and we returned the whole front seven.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. On defense. We only returned maybe one secondary guy. It might have been Kevin, and I think he was really a sub at the time.
Yeah, he was more of the nickel guy.
Yeah, he was more than so. And then the offense, I think we returned other than Nook, but we had Chad Martin going in there who was very good. So it wasn't really, probably a better athlete. Maybe I don't know if he was the blocker that
he was. I mean, he was
pretty good.
Yeah, Chad could do it all, man. If Chad was focused and didn't get caught up with he
was hanging out with Dexter. God rest both their souls. They were good friends.
Yeah, exactly. And he would have been. He should have been gotten some years in the league.
Yes, he was athletic.
Fair enough. And then he had a bunch of shoulder surgeries and whatnot.
He was a fullback. Like I was really kind of similar kind of fullback, but I was already moved over to linebacker. But because Chad could run. Yep. Chad could catch and he could block. And he wasn't huge, but he was still like physical enough.
He's about 250 running a 4.5.
Yeah, he could run, dude. And he was like he was, he was like, Kyle Juszczyk from the 49ers. Yes. Back then, that wasn't really a thing.
Not at all.
Fullback, because it was still kind of although one of the reasons why I moved to a linebacker, because he thought he was trying to bring in more guys like Chad, and he thought of me more as an eye fullback. Yeah. I really wasn't, but he thought of me more because that's what we ran before that. Yeah. And he thought of Chad as more a guy who could play in the spread if need be, could move out. Like, even though Holtz wasn't really spread yet, like you thought of the offense as being more modern than what Tom Jackson ran. Literally, like. We were in the eye, and I'm not kidding. If it was split backs, it was pass, draw, or screen. That's it.
That was the only time you were in split backs.
Yeah, because I remember we played Villanova my redshirt freshman year, and we went in the split backs and gun with Zeke, and we ran where the tailback would lead for me running, and where I would lead for the tailback out of split backs.
Yeah,
and I was like, "This is awesome!"
Was it like an outside play?
Run. What?
Like, was it like an outside sweep play or like an off tackle play?
No, it was like a power play.
Like a
Oh,
lead.
okay.
Listen, there was no zone sweep where you
Oh,
were
I know,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were like Holtz was the first time I'd ever heard the word zone.
Yeah.
Never heard it in
College.
I used to love when we introduced zone, especially when I got to my junior and senior year.
Introduced?
With that stuff.
It didn't get introduced until your junior and senior year?
No, we
you
run it a little bit
earlier.
but he brought most of his offense from what he had
Yeah.
at Notre Dame.
He tried to run triple option in the beginning.
No, I know.
That's why Shane was running some option plays.
No, I know, and that's why Wilbur was at fullback, which I couldn't believe.
Wilbur probably tells the story because Shane was young, and then because Shane ended up taking 2 jobs in the same year, so he took both guys who I thought were actually in today's era, they would have. I mean, Shane have talked about this. Yeah. They would have just transferred to another school and probably been a starter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Shane, his redshirt freshman year, it was Buffalo. Well, first they moved Zeke because Zeke and Holtz did not get along. Zeke literally was an IQB, but like gunslinging. Like
he had a cannon.
He just threw it 100 miles an hour. Yes. Everything.
Yep.
I would run the out. I told Shay this. We were laughing. I would run the the fullback, like it would be the play action to the tailback where I would lead on.
And you go into the flat.
Yeah. And I go to flat, and then they would run the route over the top of it with the receiver.
Yeah, the corner route. Yeah.
Yep. And I would go to the flat.
And you get a missile.
I would get a missile. I was so close to him, and it was a missile. It was just like, usually I catch it with my hands, but sometimes it stick to my chest. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's Joe. That's exactly Joe Figiano. That's how he is.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Joe Figiano is like that.
We talked about that with Steve.
Just throws missiles.
About how people throw a hard ball and people throw a catchable ball.
Well, it's not just
spin it, man.
Know who you're throwing to.
Yes.
Know, know.
KYP, man.
I mean, he fired a crossing route at Syracuse to Skylar Bell that was probably 210 miles an hour and behind him.
Hey, we should have won that damn game. Great segue. Great. We're good at segues, man.
I don't
want to nothing. I don't even think I got to a conclusion of what I was talking about. But let's move on.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about how hard the quarterback threw you the ball. But no, I was at the game, Shane, and I was with Laban. And it was funny because my father came, and
great athletes.
My father was just like, God damn, this quarterback's horrible.
Yeah.
Why are they playing him?
Man. We were in that thing.
I know. It was 21-14 at half.
Yeah.
If they didn't get that fake punt in the third quarter, I mean that was a huge difference maker, and I think we would have won.
Yeah, Kyle McCord went off though, didn't he? Jeez.
Yeah, I met his dad. Yep.
He throws a catchable ball.
Yeah, but the thing that I got yelled at by my father because I was screaming.
Yeah.
From the second tier.
Were you allowed to smoke there?
I did smoke outside the building, walking in.
You could smoke outside the building there.
No,
really?
No, you couldn't. You couldn't. I was told to put it out multiple times.
Oh, okay.
I didn't though.
You ever seen? The new series Landman? Have you seen it?
Yes, yes.
It's great, right?
It is.
So there's a scene where like the cop is like telling him to put out a cigarette. He's not. And he won't touch you, dude.
Yeah. I got told by security.
You're 6'5". You're like, no.
Yeah, fuck you. I kept going.
All right, little guy, get out of here.
I had to get one. I had to get one before I went in because you can't come out. So
yeah, that's true.
But no, we absolutely should have won the game. It was the fake punt and defense in the first drive of the game. They scored in 2 plays. Yeah. That was it.
Dude.
And
you can't let a guy throw for almost 500 yards, though.
Yes.
Well, Shane, I had this discussion, and we did the show with Tyler. Tyler felt they should have pressured him more.
Yeah.
And I saw them they pressured him plenty of times.
Yeah.
We never got home, and our receivers our DBs don't match up with their receivers, with Rondé Gadsden, and they can't cover for that long.
That dude is a stud, man. He's darn near impossible to match up with. I mean, with everybody.
He is, but I picked up the tendency.
What year
I think he came back, but I thought he was a junior or a redshirt junior.
He should come out. He would be drafted very high.
Oh yeah.
Very high.
Dude had 11
catches. Senior, so
yeah, he had 11 catches for 101 yards. But Shane, every time they were in trips, he would be number 2 off the ball. Okay. We never, like, coverage wise, I was so angry because you had nobody over him to reroute him. He was getting a free release, running 10 yards downfield.
Let's see if we can pull it up, because this is what we do.
Let's not pull it up. I don't want to see it. It just angers me. So I'm screaming at the top of my lungs.
What were they not doing? What were they not doing?
The last drive UConn had to score, we're down 2 scores. We're driving. The clock wasn't stopping on timeouts.
No. I said, what were they doing on Rondé Gadsden that we were not
nothing? Covering? We weren't doing nothing.
Did they put anybody over him? How did they play him?
That's what drove me nuts. No.
Yeah, so they didn't reroute him. Let me ask you this, though.
I would put someone on top of him to reroute him.
Was he always off the ball?
So that's the other thing. They did a good job of moving him around, but I picked up the tendency. Yeah. Anytime they put him on the line, he was in a 2-point stance as a wing. Yeah. And they always ran away from him.
His tight ends coach is a Jersey legend.
He would cut off, or he would run around. Oh, yes.
Probably going to be the next Temple head coach.
Yes. And then, they throw just a direct screen to him, and there's nobody fucking over him.
Oh,
how are you not over?
Here, I see they're 3-over-3 on him.
Well, then eventually they moved out to that, but before he was untouched, and they're off him, and he's not.
I think you're right. Like, I don't. You know what I understand?
I
didn't look at this as in depth, but now I'm looking at it. They were playing man with nobody over the top at times.
No, the safety was
not blitzing all of the guys. They would drop them.
No,
dude. Me and Shane break down the stupidity of.
Oh my gosh!
This is not just
and
you.
Burton loves
makes some mistakes.
Matt Brock, and I think Brock.
There's a lot of listen. We listen. LSU had defense coordinators a legendary guy. They make so many mistakes. These guys. That I call today's defenses and offenses, okay, are like what you see in high school now. Every week it's something slightly different. Yep. Every week you have to completely adapt to college football. Every week you have some sort of gimmick you got to worry about.
Sure.
Every single week. This is what high school is, okay?
Yeah.
And when you get to the better high school programs, like the bigger divisions, you're seeing this all the time. One team does this, the other team does that, the other team does this, and that's what college football has become, right?
Copycat league.
It's
kind of a deal.
Of course, it is
disruptive. Everything's disruptive. Everyone's designing their offenses to be disruptive.
But Dave, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So the coaches are not equipped at the college level. Because if you come up as a GA,
I'm equipped. I could have solved that problem.
Unless you're smarter. I've talked to Shane about this. There are a lot of guys that are systematic.
They stay within their system. I get that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for you to, if you run a certain approach to things. Because I've seen this with high school coaches. I've won 90 championships playing cover 2. Okay, great.
Yeah, they don't get out of it.
You get a quarterback. That runs 4 verticals and you get it to the whole shot on the outside. It'll be this. This is all they're going to be doing.
They don't play to the strengths of their talent, 100%.
Right? Or they run double posts on the outsides. What are you going to do?
Exactly. But my thing was,
Lots of blowing of the
Syracuse
whistle.
has a horseshit run game. Okay,
True.
I would have rushed 3 and dropped 8.
Hey, Steve,
Because
let me
we
ask you
don't
this,
match
though.
up
What
with
do you
them.
think about the three-man front defense? What are your feelings on that? What's your favorite?
Shane, if I ever coach defense, I'm going to run a 3-4. I love the 3-man front. It's very.
No, I'm saying with ours, though. We
He
didn't
hates
bring
3-5. Steve hates it.
We
I hate
were
the 3-3-5.
off the whole time. Like
I was
first of all,
angry.
UConn, we are terrible tacklers. Awful.
Well, I don't think they work on it, but nobody practices in pads anymore.
I was going to say, yeah, nobody in college football does it, but they do not come to balance when they get to, and it's consistent. We are not good tacklers.
Across the board, yes.
Yes.
I don't know that anybody's great tacklers anymore. I just feel like
they
some of the
don't
guys,
work on it.
The better the athlete are, they have more of a better chance of getting them down because nobody works on it. Like we were watching a couple weeks ago, we were pulling up the clips from the Alabama LSU game, and Alabama turns out to not be very good. But Alabama was running.
I love how you say not very good. Meanwhile, they have 10 first-round draft picks.
Well, they are very good. I'm just saying, like they should be better.
They're okay. Yeah, he's getting heat.
Milroe you force him to just throw. When you force him to just throw,
yeah.
He's got he's not much different than the UConn quarterback. He's got an absolute hose for an arm.
Well, I'm sure he has better accuracy though.
He is a little bit, obviously. He's at Alabama. He's a little bit more. Yes, he's more.
Because it was the first game my father saw, and he was like, "What? Who is this guy? What?
Are you talking about Kyle McCord?
No. I was talking about Jalen Milroe. I was talking about Jalen Milroe.
Oh, okay.
Kyle McCord is a pretty high draft pick quarterback wise.
Yeah.
He had one bad game.
The
game against Pittsburgh. He had a bad game against them.
Yeah. Right.
Listen, what UConn tried to do was replicate what Pittsburgh did.
They did. They tried to bring pressure, but it didn't get
remember, we talked about this. They don't have the guys in the secondary to replicate.
No, not even close. And that's why they got out of it after the first drive when they scored in 2 plays.
Syracuse, if they dropped 8, Steve,
I would have dropped 8.
They would have just ran. They were
watching this again.
Watching
this again. I know you said they brought pressure. But every big play I see here, they're only rushing 3.
Oh, okay.
And they are dropping 8, and nobody's covering anybody.
Okay, well then they sucked it.
What I've said from the beginning is that and this is way back to Maryland,
because we don't have the athletes. Yes, you have said that.
I'm not really looking at their technique, but it has zero to do with technique. Okay. They may, all these kids have decent technique for the most part. They've been doing like 9,000 things. They don't have the speed, the speed and athleticism that the receivers they're covering when they play the bigger teams. Joe D'Ambrosia says it nicely because he's still in UConn. He says it in a nice version way.
Said, Steve, did you really expect them to beat a Power 4 team?
Yes, I say it very bluntly. They're not fast enough and athletic enough, but it's really fast enough.
Yes.
Because
I just don't understand how there are all these holes.
They couldn't get out of their breaks.
You're playing 3 high and 5 underneath. And they're just
like they're playing man coverage. Well, doesn't it look like man?
No.
Okay.
Bro.
So it was cover 3. You thought it was cover 3?
There was plenty of man too.
They play a little bit, not much.
But they're trying to do what Pittsburgh did very well, and they don't have enough guys.
Yes. Well, yeah, they would walk up the Mike and Will.
They don't get enough pressure with the front guys,
and they'd have the Will try to drop all the way out to number 2. Yeah. And
the whole thing comes down to money and athletes.
Of course it does.
Yes, it does.
And then it's coach. Then okay, we're all in the SEC and we all have athletes and we all have guys.
Okay.
Now coaching. I would say like the NFL, right? Yep. And maybe we could use this as a quick segue to get done what you want to get done. In the NFL, what happens is, yes, there are some teams that have less than others. Okay, but there's a lot of teams in the middle and the top tier, and why coaches get fired, in my opinion, and GMs get fired very quickly if things don't go well, is the bottom line is there's a lot of really good athletes that are very, very, very close to each other.
Yeah.
And you have to be really smart to figure out how to get those guys open and to cover those guys and to stop the run.
You got
to be smart.
Segue.
Everybody's very, very good. So coaching does matter, and ability to figure things out does matter when everybody's really, really close.
Yeah, you put guys in positions to win and take away the thinking aspect as a coach if you're good at your job. And then
absolutely,
like Belichick always said, coaches don't win games in the NFL. Coaches lose games.
Right.
Players win games.
Right. Yep. But there's you lose games because you do dumb shit as a coach.
Correct.
Okay. Coaches do dumb shit, and everyone's done it. I've done it. You think you're cute. You think you're smarter than the other guys, and you're like, oh, this would work. He doesn't ever look at film. Of course he does. He looks at more as much film as you, maybe more. But like that's what goes on in your primate brain. You know what I mean? Your primate brain.
Yeah, of course.
Primate.
Gee, monkey, I'm smarter than that monkey.
All I wanted was a naked off of the outside zone. That's all
I want is them to throw Skylar Bell the ball at least 12 targets a game.
We probably should get 15, 20.
He had 10 catches. I mean, he had 10 catches last year.
Like he needs. I know we went back from the segue back to, but
we go back to college now.
No, he did.
Skylar Bell needs the rock. He can show you. He shows you when you give him opportunities. He makes plays, bro.
Yeah.
And the fact that against this team, they finally went to him, and he balled. Like,
because Joe, when Joe Figiano plays, they believe they can throw the ball better.
Can I ask you a question, Steve? You might know this answer.
I probably won't, but
No, I think you might. The running backs, are they good enough athletes to be threats in the passing game?
Yeah.
They are?
I agree.
Why don't they use them in the passing game?
They did a little bit.
Because they could create – they did? They
would put Cam out as a receiver.
Okay, I didn't know.
And Mel Brown in the backfield.
Okay.
The question I had for Burton was about Darrell Robinson because he was a leading rusher going in. He's amazing, and he only had 3 carries the whole game.
Is he hurt or something?
Burton said he didn't know, but he didn't come into the game until late in the second quarter. So I don't know if he got suspended or I don't know what.
It all comes back to one thing: if they're doing mostly the right things, they don't have enough.
Right.
Yet the key word is yet.
No.
They don't have enough yet. And what did that mean? Basically means in college football, they don't have enough speed yet.
Dave, I wholeheartedly believe if we had a competent quarterback, we would have won that game.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that
there was enough around.
I don't know. You don't think Kyle McCord, if it gets tied up, would come right back down and just score?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I just think I'm going
we rise to the occasion, man.
I think it would just be a shootout.
Yes.
And
that's what Dave said.
They have better athletes.
I said a shootout is a loss for us.
But we held them to 31 points.
Our guys are they're very.
I love how you said we held them to 31.
we listen. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah,
but they're not bullets. The kid who's starting because I live in Jersey. The kid who's starting at corner, Chadwick. Okay,
what number is he?
6 maybe.
Okay.
He's a freshman, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, you can tell.
Tim Chadwick is like a 4.6 mid 4.5s guy. All right. He is starting as a freshman.
Yes.
He's from Immaculata, which is a decent program, not
good program. Yeah, I remember Immaculata
program. But and he was the star for their team. I was shocked that he was starting from the get-go. Now, Chadwick is a good enough athlete to probably have gone to some bigger schools. He would not have started right away at those schools.
No.
When he showed up as the day one starter at UConn, the first thing that told me is he has to be probably the best athlete.
Yeah, that's not good.
Whoever number
he's
14
a very good
is,
athlete, but Bergen Catholic, in New Jersey, there's 5 schools that have better athletes than him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that's like when Lee Holmes came in and started as a freshman for us, who was a sick athlete. Obviously, he's the nephew of Larry Holmes, but he came in. He only weighed about $160. Starting at corner as a freshman.
I'm trying to find the rally killer that I did not like. The defensive back, the number he was number. I call him.
It's not Chadwick. I know who it is.
It was number 14. I just called him,
dude.
Yeah, Malcolm Bell. I called him the rally killer. That's what I called him.
Yeah, I've seen him miss. I've seen him miss about 17 tackles.
Laban was going nuts the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. Cameron Chadwick.
What is he doing in there?
Might be their best defensive back as a freshman. That's my point. He's not even the top 10 athlete in New Jersey.
He's
probably first team All State because he probably was by far the best player on Immaculata.
Malik Dixon Williams was, but I think he got hurt earlier in the season.
That's
he
also
was good.
the issue you have. All this can be solved with money.
Well,
a bunch of really rich people getting involved. My firm belief is none of this is going to be solved with the $100, $500 donations.
I know.
How many billionaires that are alumni at UConn? Find those guys. Hello.
No, I know, man. I've been
make another building.
Hello.
I've been trying to help Burton, and I
have a billionaire for you guys. No one's asked me the person's name. I said it on one a calls.
Yes,
billionaire.
But
I know a billionaire.
When we have our call on Thursday, make sure
nobody asks me for his name.
What is his name?
He ain't giving any money to me, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, he is a UConn alum.
Oh, beautiful. Just tell him on Thursday.
He's an old school UConn alum. I went to work for him in my first job.
What is his name?
You can't say it. You can't say it.
I don't want to say his name.
We have to keep our leverage.
I'll say it all. I don't want to say his name because
the name which shall not be mentioned.
No, because I don't want to. Because he doesn't want people.
I gotcha.
We have to keep our leverage. Our leverage.
Hey, so
I would offer him and his family the farm. Low key guy, dude. Low key guy, great guy, loves sports.
Burton at least communicates with them and finds out what they need.
No one's talked to this guy. I know
that's amazing. They don't
know because he's not gonna.
He doesn't advertise.
Oh yeah, but he has his name on things at UConn. But I'm just saying,
he's not the guy that I interviewed, is he?
No, he's not gonna do an interview. He's not.
Okay.
He's a billionaire.
Well, the guy that I interviewed, I thought was very wealthy. The Eric T. Bechtel guy.
He's not a billionaire.
Do you know him? Have you heard of him?
I know who he is. Yeah.
Whenever somebody has an initial in their name when they get introduced,
and maybe he's not quite a billionaire, but I know he sold his company for like $1 zillion. Yeah. I don't know when I worked for him, him and his brother were I think his brother went to UConn too. They were the sole owners, but I don't know as they expand. I was gone from it. I don't know if they were. I don't know if as they expanded the company, if they took on him. I have no idea because I was gone. I was not there anymore.
So, if you're looking at this week, what do you think about Ohio State, Michigan? Do you think it's even close? Because the line blows my mind. I can't believe it's Ohio State -20.
I don't think. Yeah, that's actually not a bad line.
Really?
I don't think it's going to be close. I know it's a rivalry game.
Michigan's that bad? Wow.
Yeah, that's a great question, though. And I think Ohio State, the Big Ten is really good, no doubt. And you look at Ohio State's only loss to Oregon.
Right.
By what, 1 point in the first week of the season? I wouldn't be surprised if they do cover. But again, you look at it being a rivalry game and how those teams have always spoiled each other's seasons.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that would worry me about. Where is this game? Is it in Michigan or is it Ohio State?
No, it's at Ohio State.
Okay. That's probably why it's 20 then.
Yeah.
And then the other big one is South Carolina at Clemson.
Yeah.
And Clemson is minus.
Do you want my opinion of Ohio State, Steve, or you just want to move on?
Dave, yes, Dave. What are your thoughts on Ohio State?
I looked up the wrong person because I thought it was Shamar Moore, but that's an actor. So
the coach of Michigan.
I'm like, Shamar Moore. That doesn't look like the guy from.
So far, your opinion is not very good.
Sharon Moore is his name, isn't
Moore.
it? Yeah,
Sharon, I thought it was Shamar Moore, who was like an actor.
I didn't think he was a great hire.
Well, he was Harbaugh's right hand guy, and they didn't want to Right,
they didn't want to overhaul.
Let's put it like this: if he loses after them winning 3 years in a row,
yeah.
If he loses, he's going to be he's already on the hot seat.
Well, they won't fire him after a year.
No, they're not going to fire him after a year.
But he'll be on the hot seat.
I'll tell you this: if he loses this game, what would they be? 5-5?
Yeah, I mean they've struggled this year mightily. I think they're 5-6 right now.
You ask any Michigan or Ohio State alum, and if you don't win the national championship, but you beat either the opposite team, the opposing team, you still can.
Your job.
You did, yeah. You got a job still.
Yeah,
they're 6-5. Oof.
Oh, they're 6-5. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's why Harbaugh, read the tea leaves and saw it was.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
You think because of the sanctions?
What do you think it is then?
I think the NCAA wearing on him, the nonsense. I think.
Well, yeah, and he's going to get suspended.
He's like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah.
So I'll go win an NFL championship, which he will eventually do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he felt disrespected, especially after the 2020 season when they made him take a pay cut.
How would you feel if the SEC does whatever they want, literally
whatever?
He run. I don't give a shit what anyone says. They run college football, that conference, and that commissioner.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. Yeah,
they do whatever the fuck they want, and good for them. I mean, that's how it is now. Do whatever you want, and then you're Michigan, and
Harbaugh bought someone lunch. He bought a recruit lunch, or
he buys a recruit lunch. He sticks a guy on the sidelines. He sticks a couple guys on the sidelines to scout. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
I know.
You don't think Alabama has been doing that shit?
Right.
That's exactly what Frank said.
Georgia Michigan's the first one to ever do this.
You think Kirby Smart, who's literally, he's the only coach I've ever seen in the history of college football who runs up and down the sidelines the whole entire game, screaming. He goes from this with his hat like this, and he's screaming up, and his hat's all sideways. He's screaming up and down the side. I mean, obviously, he's a phenomenal coach, right? Yeah. That's all he does. Watch him the whole game.
Dave, that would be you. That would
definitely be me. That's why I love him. But I'm like, no wonder people get mad at me when I'm a high school coach because I'm over here yelling at this guy. I can't even run, by the way. No, my right knee, and I'm still running.
Just take a high school coaching job. Now that you're a Hall of Famer,
I do it in 9U.
Hey, congratulations!
9U. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What kind of
honor me?
Shane will be your OC, and I'll come coach your O-line. That'll be a move.
The only thing is, I might put Shane probably knows much more than me on offense, even though I think of myself as a genius on offense.
Of course, we all do.
But Shane probably does know more technically than I am than I have. So we probably would butt heads.
Well, I think I know more than both of you, so we all three of us would probably.
You definitely don't know more than me.
We're supposed to butt
I'm
heads,
an offensive genius.
You don't want to
you're enough.
agree with you.
I just think listen, when I was in the Hall of Fame, and
you're an offensive
I'm
genius.
not saying it for me. I'm just quoting my players, okay, that I got in the Hall of Fame. That was the worst. They'll tell you themselves. It was the worst high school program in the state of New Jersey when I took it over.
Red Bank,
and it was a co-op. You know what a co-op is?
No.
Okay. Two schools?
Two schools that have to play together.
I'm just defining what a co-op is.
By the way, they're rival schools, okay?
And they put them together because they were small?
They put them together. The kids, when I got there, they were on the same team, and they hated each other. Because like in basketball, they'd be playing against each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I changed that whole culture. They're all, by the way, best friends still to this day. They're like 29, 30, 31. They're all great friends. You know, even though they live in
Hall of Famer, bro.
How many years did you coach?
But you know, offensively, the one guy coaches out of high school now, and he was just texting me. He goes, "I don't know how the fuck you do it. We're trying to turn around this high school." He's like, I thought it would be so easy. I played for you, you know. He's like, that shit isn't easy. You made it look easy. And I'm just telling you this not because I don't normally tout myself on like something.
No, you never do.
To me and Shane, when we talk, I would. But
I tout you.
But I'm just telling you, like I and Shane does too, because I've watched him coach. I've watched him coach live. I see shit that people do not see. Like I see what's going on over here by how they're moving without seeing it. By how the play result happened, I know who missed the block. I don't even have to see it. Like, I just know what's supposed to happen, and I know who made by knowing who made the play, the number of the guy, like 34 or whatever, or if I just know. Like most coaches don't see that. Most coaches that are good, by the way, a lot of coaches that are very good. They see what's in front of them.
Which is me.
They watch the play.
They see what's in front of them only. Okay?
Right.
You have to be able to know when you call a play, just offensively, but I think of it defensively too this way.
Certainly.
And I think that's what's helped me as an offensive coach because I was a defensive guy.
Absolutely.
Okay. I became a defensive guy.
That makes you better.
I was originally a lazy running back. Okay. But became a defensive guy. And, you know what I know what could beat me on defense. I knew if I played this, if they do this, we're in trouble, right?
We're in trouble, right?
Right.
You have to have an answer for
knowing that on offense. And I would have been a shitty offensive. I started out, I was an okay offensive guy, but when I became a line coach, when I was at Riverdale, this high school, they made me do the D-line, O-line. I'd never done O-line, D-line before. It was all theory to me. Yeah. And when I coached those guys, and you know this as an offensive lineman, once I coached those guys, I realized how those pieces had to work and like how you had them get them to move together. The light bulb went off. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, like if you can do certain things with the offensive lineman and make it so those guys fly.
Yep.
Come off the ball. Yep.
In all honesty,
and put the pressure on the skill guys. Yeah. To learn the offense, not the way that most coaches think about it like this. And you're an offensive lineman, so correct me if I'm wrong. Most coaches think, I'm going to put all the pressure on the offensive lineman, make them learn 9,000 fucking things, okay? And then if you get geniuses up there, great.
Yeah.
My whole theory was, I don't give a fuck. I just want the best players on the line. I don't give a shit if they're dumb or smart, okay? Obviously, smart is better, but it didn't matter. Those guys will be able to fly off the ball and be able to make the system simple for them. So I tagged pulls. I tagged everything that they had to do outside of when they had to do down or zone, right? And I taught them that down or zone is the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing, okay? I get it. Down, you're turning your shoulders, right?
I mean, it's a technique.
I get that you're turning your shoulders.
Similar.
I taught them the theory is the same thing. You're either moving to it or opposite it, okay? That's it.
Yep.
And then everything else would be tagged for you. So I started to run zone with pulls. Like, if I thought a guy was a shitty player and he wasn't going to make the tackle in the backfield,
you pull him.
I just pulled that guy. I never blocked him.
Yeah, he's not going
to read him.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing with now. Down is your typical gap scheme stuff. Gap scheme. I would tag guys, and I took these kids who did not know. I'm telling you, my fear for them when they went to college was, and I didn't know until I started to talk to college coaches more, that they told me they didn't give a shit about what system, because we're going to teach them our system anyway. Right. So I was always nervous that they would go to college and didn't know anything other than my system, and they would be absolutely fucked. We didn't use holes. There was no such thing as 1, 3, 5, 7.
No.
I said, fuck those holes. Fuck all that shit. Like, you ain't gonna remember what the fucking one hole. I'm telling you, when we first got there, like,
it's archaic.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah,
when I didn't know anything, I was like,
great saying, Steve. It is.
No, it is archaic. It is. It's 100% archaic.
Listen, there were guys. When I coach in the All-Star game, the guys like, my kids I coach in 9U, they don't know what a fucking hole is.
No.
Okay? They only know gaps.
Yeah.
And my philosophy on that is the defense only knows gaps.
Yes.
The defense only knows gaps. So, why are we giving them fucking numbers? Why are we giving them fucking numbers when they got to flip around on defense? Because most good players play both ways. Yeah. And on offense, they're like 1, 3, 5, 7. And then I go over and you're saying ABC. Yeah. No, it's fucking ABCD. It's ABCD.
You're 100% right.
This is my whole theory about football. Everybody's a fucking idiot, okay? Stop making it so hard for these kids.
Yeah. I know. I
my real
agree.
theory is, with our young kids, because I did it this year, put the fucking plays on their arm.
Wristband it. Yeah.
Teach them ABCD. Teach them double team. Teach them technique.
Right.
Who gives a fuck about your system?
The scheme,
You're limited by your scheme. Yeah. Think about this. If you could put plays on somebody's wrist, okay, and the other team can't see it, hopefully. Okay, you put it on their wrist and you drew it out.
A lot of teams wristband it now,
If you drew it out for them and you drew out the plays, and I'm not going to say how.
Oh, you actually.
Draw it out. Guess what?
I didn't know that. Okay.
You could line up in double tight with 2 receivers on one play.
My favorite formation.
Okay. Or you can line up with quads to the right on the next play. Try calling a high school, okay, because I've done it. Okay, and we did it because we taught it. That's what made the Pal Park Kids good. We put it on their wrist, and we wrote out, we would just have the name of the play. It would be like Zenith for zone, right? It would just say Zenith. And I would call the set, and I would say play number 1. And it would say Zenith. They knew what Zenith was. Well, I'm taking it to – I think you should take it to the next level. Just – you can teach them the names of the plays so they know if shit hits the fan.
Zenith East, Zenith West.
Right, right, exactly. That's exactly it. But put it on their wrists, dude. Now college, you're not going to be able to probably do it in that way. But if
a lot of colleges do.
You can line up. You can line up any set you want. I'm saying draw it out. If you draw out trips on one play, okay, and then the next play you're in the wishbone. Okay, you could do whatever the fuck you want as long as they know technique.
Yes, and you have the personnel to do that.
No, you're saying you actually
having the personnel
to play.
I'll tell you. He knows how I had to get creative because I have some kids that have a long way to go.
Maybe in high school you could do that, but in the college level and the NFL level.
And
those way too many plays on the wristband.
No, you could use it in space. You could use it. No, you don't have to use it in the NFL because you got people over top filming and stuff like that. You don't have to use it in the NFL as your everyday thing. You have all your plays. First of all, you're in the NFL and college now. You're yelling it in the quarterback's ear. Okay. Right. So for the most part, that stuff goes. Eventually,
it's different. Yes.
The easiest thing they should do is just put it in everybody's ear. Everybody. I mean, I don't understand why they don't.
That's one thing I don't get. Why
make the game about technique. Make the game about how well guys teach it. How well you know what I mean. But it's about memorization still. So to a certain extent, because even if you have it on your wrist, right, like the name of the play. You still have to know what you're doing on the name of that play, right? Like,
and you got to recognize the front you're getting.
And part of my the things I learned, like Shane talking to me about arena football and tags. I was like, well, why can't you tag the lineman? Like in my head, like Shane would tell me how arena would do it, right? And I watched him
You mean tagging
several
the
years
routes?
ago. I watched him coach in practice. Like I was in his huddle, and I was like, okay, that confirms like how I was like, oh, I could if I really wanted to, I could tag everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The
the reason we had to do that is
it's
because
just a long call if you do it.
There's so many. Well, yeah, it sucks with a long call, but you simplify it. And the reason I had to adjust to that and do that. One, you take the thinking out of it. Two,
because you're telling everyone what to do.
Trading guys and releasing guys, and a guy may come in that week and he needs to play.
You got to make it simple.
It just kind of morphed into why not just tag him?
It's more fun.
Like you can get creative.
Kids like visual, and I'm talking even high school. They like visual. College kids, they're all going to eventually be these kids that are all visual. Right now, you still have a mix. The Gen Z still a mix. Visual. Yes, they've all been playing video games. They're visual, but they're high school, they're elementary schools, they're public schools. All these things are becoming very visual. Like my son's school is Catholic school, so they're a little different in that they do. I love it because they make them memorize stuff. I feel that helps you a lot. But believe me, public schools are not trying to get kids to memorize things anymore. They're just not. They're trying to get them to understand what happened because they don't feel.
Well, that's a whole nother issue too, because
to memorize.
The issue with that though nowadays in public schools, especially in the lower income public schools, they don't have the resources. One, and two, they're all just teaching them to pass that state exam, and instead of trying to learn how this certain kid learns, they're
about
just
the standardized test
one way, so they pass that state exam.
Think about how much time as a coach you spend.
Yeah.
Let's say the call is alpha. I don't know. You know what I mean? Whatever alpha is, okay? You call it, okay? You spend all the time explaining to the kids what they have to do in each play. Okay? Now, you move fast. Like I teach on the run. So you
got to coach on the run. That's the only way you can do it.
But think of how much time you spend on alpha. You do this, even as you're going. No, you do this. Like as you're on the run, you're moving. If the kid sees it,
you absolutely are moving on the run.
Yes, that's a great point. I was just trying to think of a term that you would normally say. I'm here.
So how would you
term? Like I'm here, but I'm here. But yeah, so you put it on the wrist, right? And so now alpha, for example, okay, they already know what the blocking scheme is. Now you're correcting technique and blitz pickups.
Certainly.
Versus spending more of the time on what their first phase is, which is what do I do on this play?
Who are we working to? Who's the mic?
Who are we working to?
Who are we comboing
you can't even get to pickups. You
Yeah.
can't even get to it because you're spending half your time on even pretty smart kids.
Yeah.
Each play, making sure they know what they have to do. If they already know the basic of, all right, this is what I do to, and this is how I climb, to the next level with the little arrows, right? Broken, straight line means I go get that. I'm going in that direction. Right. Broken arrow, broken line after that means I climb, right? Once they know that forever, right? So they see that, and
I call that
colors.
shifting.
So now I'm like, okay, now all I'm teaching going forward is they know this already. So if they fuck that up, you're like, you got to be really like, I drew it on the freaking arm for you, okay? That kid's coming out, but because he drew it on his arm and he can't figure out how to do it with a drawing on an arm. But you can spend most of your time like pickups, how a double team works. When do you double team, right? When do you come up? You know how hard that is to teach kids? When do you come off the double team?
Sure.
Right? When the linebacker, right? That's real. My experience as a line, when I was a line, and I was only a line coach for 1 year, but I coached the line as the head coach a lot because I had to. That was hard. You have to practice it over. But if you can move right to that versus going over to play, like think how much time you spend going over to basic responsibilities.
Yeah.
Think how much time you do.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can now go to the adjustments when they come off on the double team. And think about if you don't have to tell them when to pull. Although that's why I tagged it, because
that's what I asked. How did you tag? Like if you wanted the right guard to pull?
Great example. So we would run our veer option was called. We used to call it Italy. All right, inside veer. Right.
Okay.
And that was a down block. Okay. If we wanted to do the veer action, the
tackle would block down and the guard would pull.
Yeah, then we'd option the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we would do that veer block, right?
Tight end tackle down.
What's that?
Tight end and tackle block
down, right? And then we'd have a double team on the 3 or whatever. If we it was a B gap play, but we really like to option the end on that.
Yeah,
it was just it wasn't really an A gap. It was, but it was really like we want to get that guy off the yeah. So anyway, so if we wanted to call a pull and basically run a sweep for the quarterback, off of it, okay, we would call Italy Sweden, right? So Italy, and then you pull it, okay, or we pull
the quarterback keeps it, and the
pitch man pull the front side guard or the back side,
right? So we used to pull if you were uncovered.
Okay.
That would be our rule. But I couldn't get guys to remember that. I mean, I'm not kidding. So what I did was I would call Italy Sweden, okay, and for the guards I could call Giants, okay. So if you were a guard,
segue, New York Giants,
and you were uncovered, I could call Italy Sweden Giants. Giants triggered the guards, her Giants.
Yeah, okay.
If I looked and I was uncovered, I pulled.
Yeah. Now in New York, at 9U, they have to play a set defense. They have to play a 6-2. Do they have to do that in Jersey? No. Okay.
That's foolish.
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Wow.
Which makes it, by the way, very hard. It's very
hard.
New
York, they make everyone play a 6-2. And nobody gets in 3-point stances. I
play most of the time with 2 tight ends or an overload or, to combat it, just because I don't know what the hell they're going to run for the most part.
So you were comfortable running the veer?
No, I'm talking about high school. I don't run the veer with the.
You're talking about high school. I got you. Okay.
We do run we're in gun. So we do run what would look like to most people zone option, right? It looks like zone option.
But it's truly elite.
Most of the time we're calling it. But now, my son's the quarterback, so I can work on some of these things with him. Right. Most people probably can't.
Right.
But I'm setting it up so eventually it's going to be he's able to read it.
Yeah. Okay.
But the bottom line is
running zone read.
I used to run Sweden. I used to run Sweden. This is in high school now. I'm not talking about youth.
Right.
In high school, I used to run Sweden for sweep. Okay.
Not out of the gun though.
I would run out of the gun. Yeah, pistol.
Yeah.
I was pistol.
Okay.
There was a time I was
okay. Pistol. All right, pistol's fine.
Yeah, but but you can run it. You just turn and pitch it.
Yeah. Yep. I like that. But
anyway, but we didn't care. It didn't matter. What our alignment. It didn't matter to us. If I was in pistol, if I called pistol, and we ran Sweden, they knew that they were behind in getting the pitch. If we were in some form of spread gun, and we ran Sweden, we knew the guy was going to offset if we're going to right. Those guys already knew that communicate. That was expected of them.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I put the pressure on the skill guys to learn it, which is opposite of what most people do. They just assume skill guys are dumb, and they don't. Other than the quarterback, which I think is a major mistake. Because if those guys learn the game, because those guys are the ones that have to make a lot of adjustments on routes and stuff like that.
Yeah, hot route. 100%.
Hot route. Will you just get over here and stand, please? Hot route.
Just get over here.
No, but see, my thing always was, I agree with you, Dave. I always felt that you can't be all things to all people. And that means, you can't run zone, counter, power, all that stuff. You got to major in one or two things, and that's your focus.
Yeah, maybe in high school, most people do. Okay? In
college, I felt.
I don't think you can anymore. I don't think you can
rep it enough.
everybody has their staple plays. Like if you're not running a power, to me,
well, exactly.
It's a mistake.
I agree.
If you don't have a counter power in some version of that, I think it's a mistake.
You have to have a complement. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Whether you run it with the quarterback, whether you run it with the running back, however you do it,
100%.
You need a power. You need a counter power.
Complement. Yes.
You need a sweep. Whatever the hell you do, whether your sweep is
a perimeter run. Yep.
Whether it's jet, whether it's pitch, you need. Yep. You need a. This is how I think about football. I think about it is, you need a power. You need a counter. You need a sweep. You need a reverse. Okay. There's certain staple passes that you need. Like I think you need a version of some version of shallow routes. Okay. It doesn't mean necessarily crossers. Whatever your philosophy is. I like to run crossers. But
the cross and the
shallow,
dig
which could mean slants,
Yep.
And speed digs, out. It could mean
mini digs, speed out.
Could be hitches. Yep. Okay. You need some
quick
system
game
that has that. Like everybody likes different things.
Yes.
You need some high-low route. You need a screen. Okay. I like a lot of screens, but you need a screen. Okay.
Correct.
You need a version of all verticals, basically guys down the field.
Yep.
So that's how I look at football, right? Like I don't give a flying ass how you do it.
Yeah. I've really learned this through the years of coaching. Every year morphs into like you guys are both saying the same things, listening to you guys, like you're just saying it a little different. But what I've really learned was you have your staple plays, no doubt. You gotta major in those things. Like when it's 3rd and 3, you know what you're gonna go to because you have those kind of athletes and you have those beasts up front. But what I've learned is certain guys have certain skill sets and do things differently and do better things, do different things better than others.
Yeah.
And as that season goes on, if you're aware as a coach, you start to learn and you have to be able to adjust your coaching according
to what you have.
Your playmakers.
100%.
And
that's the most important. That statement right there is the most important thing in coaching. And that's why I do believe you got to be, to an extent, all things to all people. I'm not saying you don't have cores. You do have cores, like I said. But what Shane's talking about, and that's the whole point on tagging, okay?
Very true.
If you know a guy, like, this play is all verticals, but we want to get this guy the ball, and he's a great comeback route guy.
Absolutely.
And you have your
Z comeback route. Yeah.
You're not getting him down the field all verticals. He's just
done that. Yep.
He's not that guy. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that those things are really important. But I think that you're right, Steve. Guys make it so complicated that look. I get everybody's an ego.
Drives me nuts.
They want you to believe that they invented football so they can move up in coaching. Okay, I get it. Like I've interviewed, and guys were like, "What system do you run?"
They want to go to the clinic and draw on the board.
They want to know what your system is.
Yes.
I'm like, I take the best player and I get him the ball.
That's it. That's it.
The system is
as much as humanly possible.
Get
and
the
then
ball
I find out who the second best player is. I try to get him the ball the second most as humanly possible. Yeah. And then I find out the third best player is. I try to get him the ball as humanly possible. Yeah. And if, by the way, I'm lucky enough that a quarterback can actually throw for me, great. Now I could do some passing plays, right?
Yeah.
If the quarterback can only run, if he's the guy and I don't have any guys that can really do, then great. Now I know, okay. But I figure out who can do the most.
That reminds me of the story. When I was coaching at Tampa Catholic and I had Christian Green at quarterback, the head coach goes, "Well, what do you want to run?" I said, "Whatever play Christian Green wants to run. I don't care what we run. Just give him the ball." And he called a quarterback lead touchdown.
I mean.
You're a genius, Shane. You're a genius.
I know.
You can't say that you have you have a system. The system is my system is tailored to my talent. Whatever my talent is capable of, whatever my talent is best at, that will be my system.
I don't think you even need to go that far.
If I have personnel to run the eye and that's what they can do well, we're going to run the eye.
Like Leach has a system, okay?
Yeah.
Leach's system is
spread.
phenomenal.
Yes. West Coast
never it doesn't win championships.
Right.
Okay? Because it's only a system.
Yes.
It's not predicated in the most darkest, difficult times.
Yes.
About getting the best guy the ball in the best situation for him.
No, it's a system.
Because you'll never see him coming back. Let's say a couple of times he had some stud backs, right?
Yeah.
Now, you're never going to see him put those guys in the best situation possible.
No.
Because his system is one
his
back
system
only.
Is one back and chucking it.
Now, work for Crabtree because Crabtree was a receiver and he was able to get him the ball more because that fit the system. But in the end,
he was also just that good.
They were but they were not going to win a championship.
They
were not going to win a national championship because no matter what happens, what are you going to do when Alabama lines up with 4 defensive linemen that are as big as are 300 pounds, as big as your offensive linemen, and they run a 40 and 4.7?
And the DB is 6'2" and 210,
and you can't throw the ball.
And run with them.
You better bring as many humans as possible in the box to try and push those guys, because if you don't,
that's why I wholeheartedly think it's based on the talent you have.
Somebody's got to reel this thing in.
You have a system, but you have to play.
There's nothing to reel in. Let's go to the Giants.
If you have a run,
got me a Marley.
Well, no, the Giants. They cut Daniel Jones, and they were embarrassed. I think that Joe Shane and Dayball have to go. Joe Douglas is gone. It's just embarrassing to be in New York with Maria Conlon said it best yesterday. The only time it's good in New York for football is when it's a bye week.
That's sad.
That's what Maria said.
So the Jets almost pulled one out.
Yeah, but they shouldn't almost be pulling it out. You have Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, pulling out is a dangerous thing to do, but it does work when you pull out.
It does not work.
You know what? You're right. It
doesn't work. I don't think it does. I never pull out.
The problem
I don't believe in it.
That you resist.
I don't believe in
it. The problem is when you don't do it.
Shane, I don't believe in it. I will never do it. I don't believe in it. I have never pulled out.
Steve,
actually.
This is what happens on this show all the time. We get
you're shooting blanks, Steve. Steve, you must be shooting blanks if you.
No, I think there's if I do the ancestry.com and look over in Germany, I may have a few floating around.
Yeah, from being
I was shooting bullets in Germany. Yeah,
that's right. You guys both played in. Didn't you?
Yeah, we both played in NFL Europe.
Yeah, we both in Europe at the same time.
No, he was after. Yeah.
No, I was
I agree. Years. Like with the Giants, though, come on, man. They lost that entire team, it seems like.
Yeah, 100%. But it goes back to that stupid Hard Knocks where if you drove here and picked me up right now and took me to Giants Stadium, we would drive through the gate, bust through. I would go to Joe Shane's office and punch him in the face.
Nice.
You've been adamant from the get-go about Joe Shane. I'll give you that. You deserve a ton of credit for that.
I just the casual demeanor that he had when talking to Saquon Barkley, your number 1 draft pick, your best offensive player, and you're saying, "Oh,
you want me to tell you my Joe Shane stories from when I was an agent?"
Oh, you dealt with him?
I love to.
Dealt with all these guys.
Yeah,
all of them.
Oh my God! Wow. Yeah. When he was with the Panthers,
I think Joe Shane might have been player personnel back then.
With the Panthers, or was he
Joe
with
Shane?
The Giants?
He might have been with the Giants already.
Or no, Gettleman came from the Panthers. You're right. I think Shane was with the Giants.
I'm pretty sure he was with the Giants. So here's my experience with the Giants organization. I felt like they would never take my players. Okay. And I had a lot of guys I put in the league.
Yeah,
I know. The Giants process was basically to say no to every basically free agent guy possible. So basically, I would call
undrafted free agents. They just had no interest.
My guys were always that borderline guys, right. and like could be drafted, dismissed.
Yeah, fringe guys.
And then I had some guys that ended up being shitty that I shouldn't have taken, but they were good guys, but they were just not good enough. But the bottom line was when you would call the Giants organization, what's the son of the Mara, right? Is the son of
John is the one.
I would always end up calling John Mara. Okay,
which they say he's a great guy. Yeah,
he would always just tell me, "Yeah, I'll send it back to so and so." You know, he would nothing. But he would get back to me. But Shane would never do anything. Now, maybe he thought my players.
Are you serious?
He probably thought my players stunk. Which.
But he never gave you a courtesy email, a courtesy call.
No, he was courteous. He was courteous.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Just wasn't like. I felt like he was so corporate. Like this used to drive me nuts. The guys who have been the Jet, Ryan Poles, okay, Bears. I think he's with. When he was younger, he was phenomenal.
You said he was great. Yeah,
phenomenal. Would get back to you. Would give you yes, no answers.
Communication.
Was personable. Would communicate. He was phenomenal. The guy who's the Panthers GM now, I bet he got fired. Oh God!
I thought you said
Scott. Dan Morgan, phenomenal. Although
former player,
he played for Vernon Hargreaves, but I kind of had that.
That's right.
Dan was pretty low. He was at Seattle at the time. Was fairly low in total, but he was phenomenal. Scott Fitterer, phenomenal. Okay,
I thought the 49ers. You said was there someone with the 49ers that you liked?
Well, the guy who's the Packers, Halfley, who was in Boston College.
Okay.
I used to go to all of the 49ers were phenomenal. They would have us come to the facility if I was out there. Come to the facility.
Oh, that's great.
Hang out, talk to us. We'll show you around. They were phenomenal, 49ers.
The Giants used to be a first-class organization, and they've just gone to shit.
Patriots
that is true.
Patriots, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay. Buccaneers.
Phenomenal.
Buccaneers, no coincidence. Phenomenal organization.
Yeah, but is there something above phenomenal?
No, there's nothing above phenomenal.
No, that's the highest you can be. Is phenomenal.
Okay.
No, but I mean that's a good. They have a good structure.
Who was a crappy group?
A good structure from top to
Giants
bottom.
Were crappy.
The Jets got to be crappy.
Jets are crappy. Even though the Jets guys that were there, they were pretty good guys. I liked them a lot. But just how their process was pretty crappy.
The evaluation,
I don't know if they're value. I have no idea. I just say the process of handling communication.
Yes.
The Steelers were unbelievable.
Yeah.
That might be phenomenal.
That might be the same as phenomenal.
That might be the same.
It might be.
I don't know. I just there were some teams that I just didn't really enjoy my interaction with.
Yeah.
What about the Titans, man? Or
I know a guy at the Titans pretty well. He was cool. He was cool. I thought they would glad hand me. I thought they were full of shit most of the time.
Okay, because they were doing really well at one point, and then not.
I didn't like them. I dealt with a guy.
What's his?
I dealt with a guy that was a great guy there, a great guy, but I thought their process was not great.
It must not be.
Explain to me the process that they would go through.
Things would die in a vine. Now you might have a guy
so they watch the film.
Almost every team I had a guy that the Saints were great.
Yeah.
Joey Vitt, his father.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable. And then the guy I can't remember who the
Now he's
GM.
not going to say phenomenal because I'm messing with that.
Well,
I mean, most of the, I would say over half of the organizations were in that phenomenal category.
But what's the process you would say that they go through with an undrafted guy?
There were some guys that you talked to that had zero openness to a player that wasn't in their exact system that they had coming into it. They just here was our system.
Check all the boxes.
This is what we need.
No, here was our list of guys. We're not looking at anything else.
Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't. That was it. It didn't go any further.
I would always have a guy that I could get to, but I would know based off of my conversation that it wasn't going any further.
Yes.
Oh my God! Wow.
There were some guys that were not they would tell. A lot of them would tell you, they like how their organization was. Like this isn't
like even before watching the film or anything, they would tell you.
There were guys that would never watch any of the film, no matter how good your guy was.
Yep, I totally agree.
Hey, you could have had fucking.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you just a story. When I was with the Bucks, Rich McKay was that guy.
Right, he was a GM. Yeah.
And that organization changed by the time I got dealing with them.
Killing it. Like I was playing better than Sean King.
Yeah, you said that. You said that, yeah.
I was playing just as good as Chris Sims.
Yeah.
If not better in practice, any rep. And Gruden comes up and I know I shared the story, but then Gruden told me, he said, yeah, man. He goes, Shane, you can play in this league.
I wish we could keep you.
Rich isn't because I wasn't a part of their original process. And they were like, screw this guy.
Yeah, if you screw up their plans.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's crazy how that works.
That's
crazy that they wouldn't like if you called them and sent them film, they wouldn't even watch. They wouldn't even watch the guy and evaluate.
I'll tell you what's funny. So like I had great interaction with Tampa Bay. Now Rapone and me were close.
Yes.
Well, that's recent though. Rich McKay was in Atlanta at that time.
It changed over by timing.
Yes.
Now Jason Licht, who's the GM now.
Yes.
He would take my call. Now I always felt like Jason Licht didn't, even though he would take my call. Like I always felt like he wasn't going to take my guy anyway. Right. But he was good at communication. I didn't care if he took my guy or not. I didn't care if you was honest. Liked my. I didn't. Like you didn't like my guy. Great. I mean, my guy wasn't for everybody, right? So, and most of my guys didn't last long. But Neville Hewitt did. Okay. Tim, who played at UConn, Tim Boyle did.
He's back with the Giants.
League. Trey Edmonds just retired last year.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Dan Smith represented Tim Boyle, who played at UConn. You don't know. You should get him.
I know Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle's back with the Giants. You should get Dan Smith
on your Husky Talk. That would probably be a ride.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, that'd be a fun one.
Do you have a contact for him?
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. Yeah.
Oh, please send.
I think he might have quit before his senior year, but
okay,
played all the other years, and he'll probably give you.
He retired. He didn't quit.
He probably has a different perspective. If you ever got him or Jay Carrier on, they'd be great to get on. But they probably have a different perspective on Skip Holtz from me and Shane.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. I want to.
They might say I hate that.
Yeah.
I want to give everyone a voice. That's
look at you, politically correct.
But yeah,
I got to tell Dave a story about this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What was it? I don't know. I forgot what else. But those three guys lasted a really long time. Okay. Yeah. And I had a few other guys that lasted a few years. I'm telling you, like Neville Hewitt, only one team, the Miami Dolphins, would take him. One team. Dude, the guy's been in the league now 10 years.
10 years.
Okay.
Wow. How long did you stick with him?
He fired me and hired Drew Rose. He hired another guy like 4 weeks after I got him on the team. That's how the business worked. But I got a nice check for it. But so it worked out.
Don't you get paid off of it still?
I did get paid off of it.
The original contract.
I did get paid, yes. Okay. Yeah, he was on to the next guy.
What? He fired you after a month?
Yes, because other people got in his ear.
Do they come and poke him?
They said he should have. They thought he should have got drafted.
Yeah.
Dude, he had a neck injury his junior year, like literally a neck, like
and they poach. They poach clients.
What?
They will poach your clients.
Oh, what? No doubt. Are you kidding me?
Well, I thought
all of our clients got poached at one point or another.
Oh, so the contract means nothing.
The only two guys who never got poached. We were out of business when Tim Boyle left us, and then and same thing with Trey Edmonds. Those guys, we left the business. So but everybody else at some point or another got poached. So most.
But so the contract it doesn't protect you other than you get money from the first contract they signed.
Well, you don't. You have to fight for that money too. You have to.
Really?
Yeah, you have to fight for it.
I had no idea.
They'll claim nonsense. The union protects the players. Okay, yes. So as an agent, you're in the basically
you have no protection,
but you have zero. Like, so you're gonna battle for it. But if you like,
that's awful.
But yeah, so if you wanted to battle it, you'd have to go through a whole system. You probably would win, but
you'd spend more money,
right,
going through it, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not arbitration, right?
It is arbitration. Yeah.
Oh, it is arbitration, but you still have to have a lawyer and everything for arbitration.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times most of the guys are lawyers, so they represent.
Yeah. Right. Wow. I didn't know.
Let me tell you something. I learned the most about business being as an agent in the NFL. Anything else I've ever done, like no is a good answer. Players don't understand this. Like if I was representing Shane or you, and I told you things that I tried to explain, you wouldn't understand. You would just not. You wouldn't understand it because it's not going to make sense to a player who has a certain amount of capabilities and a certain amount of ego, right? It's just not going to make sense. Why am I not getting in? Why
Give me an example.
Well, I know.
You went through.
I was a glorified cone.
I'll take it back. There are some players that no one ever understands it.
As they say.
But they understand that you're doing your best. Right. There are players that understand you're doing your best, but they don't. No player is ever going to understand why they're not getting picked up.
Well, your best isn't good enough. You have to understand that. I mean, that's what I figure.
When you're representing somebody, you can't tell your own client, "Hey."
No, but like when
at the end, me and Dan used to have a process, which we would be like, we would just tell them, we're not going to be able to get you there. Get another guy. We would tell them it. And usually that meant that we realized, we talked to everybody and we realized they don't think he's good enough. And if we get no traction,
you got to move on.
Yeah. Like maybe another guy might be able to get you in. I don't want to hold you back. Most of the time, we know that most of the time the player just isn't good enough.
Right. Yeah.
But
you take what you can take.
Sometimes, and players would think,
you catch lightning in a bottle.
You don't believe in me. I'm like, no, we're representing you because we do believe in you.
We do.
It's not us that don't believe in you. Yeah, it's the NFL that doesn't believe in you.
It's all the other teams that don't believe in you.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of bad agents that lie, okay?
Yes.
And that's the reason why that is the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's great agents that lie, meaning there's a lot of really successful agents that lie too. Okay.
Absolutely. Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah, but like the truth is that you really realize that the best thing you do is just kind of be upfront with them and do the best you can. And, but yeah, I mean, listen, I've had parents curse me out, like threaten my life.
Threaten your life?
Yeah.
For not getting their kid a contract?
Absolutely. They all see it as life-changing money, man.
Well, of course it is, but the rarity of making it in the
NFL. Laugh. My answer to that, as soon as my life is threatened, I say goodbye, have a nice life. I just hang up. I just hang up the phone. That's it. Never talk to them again.
Like once I started coaching,
there's no point.
College ball, and then I look back on my career and watch my own film. I could tell like probably the best that I could have been, maybe a practice squad guy. I mean, that's probably the highest I could have been.
Listen, some of it is about opportunity. Those players are like some of my free agent guys have the fact that they've lasted, 3 of them have lasted this long, tells you that they make a ton of mistakes. So the players aren't necessarily wrong when they're saying I'm good enough.
Right.
They don't get comes down to is they're not going to give you an opportunity.
Absolutely.
It does not mean that you're not good enough.
Because
it's hard to understand that.
No, and the thing is, it shows that the personnel people in that personnel department aren't good enough at their job, so they don't want to be wrong. So they're not going to give you a chance because
they don't want to be fired.
They don't want to get fired.
The scouting group works. This you don't know. Not the director of not the head, like the management level scouting guys. All the scouting guys are on year-to-year contracts.
Absolutely.
You know that?
And
they don't want to get fired.
And the thing is, college. You're exactly right. And the thing is, though, is if they, like, for my personal example, they invested like $400,000 in Chris Sims already as a signing bonus or whatever.
So they got to keep.
They're not going to get rid of him to bring me on because now the team. They're like, no, we got to get his value back before we get rid of him. I mean, we are all products. We are, and you don't want to be the guy that brings in the wrong product.
I'm just surprised you didn't get a practice squad with them. That's the only thing that surprised me.
I know, exactly. But at that time, they already had 4 guys on the roster, 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
One of them was on IR.
You know what the big deal? Now, I don't know who Shane's agent was. I'll tell you one of the things that's really important. We tried really, really hard to do this, but it doesn't always work this way. We tried really, really because with free agents, you really don't have a lot of choice, right?
Right.
You got to take people that want you for the most part. But if I had a choice, like meaning I had a few teams interested in a guy, like that would usually be a guy that was going to get like a $5,000 to $10,000 signing bonus. So I had a guy that might have gotten more once too, but those are usually like the players who just missed getting drafted, like literally, like would have been if there was an 8th round. There we go, right?
Yeah.
Those guys, I tried. Me and Dan tried really, really hard. Tim Boyle was one of those guys.
He's a shock.
Right. We had this tight end from Southern Illinois who had a 4.1 shuttle at 6'7". Okay.
Oh,
who was one of those guys. He got a 10,000. Now he actually did.
He probably only had to take one step to touch the one line.
You're 100% right. He knew he was very good at it.
He had to bend over.
He could get low. It was amazing. Yeah. He actually his name is Adam Feen. He was a fantastic athlete. Yeah. He wasn't fast. He was probably like a 4'9", 40 guy. But that's probably why he was at Southern Illinois.
Right.
And he played for the guy that you know, Shane.
Yes, the quarterback.
Great coach.
Who I actually coached, and we ended up getting rid of him from a quarterback, and now he's coaching at Southern Illinois.
He was a great guy, by the way. He let me get access to all his guys.
Down humble, awesome. But anyway,
he would tell me guys that represented his that he thought he's like, you can represent him, but I'm not sure. You know,
how long did you do it for? Was it 9 years? You said
no, 6 years.
You did it for 6. Okay.
But he had an unusually high number of guys.
You need to be my agent, Steve, because you are great at emphasizing numbers on the positive side. Mac Brown was at North Carolina for 15 years. Schuman was an agent for 9.
Yes.
No, that's why I think Dave now could be an agent for NIL stuff.
I hated it at the end.
Yeah, but I think you should do it for the college kids.
I hated getting fired when you
did all the work to get them there.
No matter how much you explained to the player how hard you worked to do something, they did not believe you. I'm just telling the truth. They literally did not believe you.
I can't believe that.
You were under the assumption that if you're good enough, you're going to make it. But that's not how it works.
The truth is I have thick skin. Yeah. Like, I think I need to have less of an ego. Honestly, me and Dan need to have less of an ego.
Say that one more time.
We need to have less of an ego.
No, but I think you could absolutely do NIL stuff and kill it.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Collecting the money from okay, so I'll give you the downside. The positive side is, great, he signs him for $1 million, and you're getting more percentage. Like maybe you might get 10%.
Yeah,
you get 100K.
Yeah,
awesome.
But
now collect that money.
Yes.
But you have it on paper,
the one thing that was nice about the NFL was
there
were rules. So a player signed with you,
it's
3%, and they had to
3%.
pay you their percentage at the end of the season. Okay.
Yeah.
You had a certain window of time to pay it and all that kind of stuff. And you could go to arbitration if they didn't do it and all that kind of stuff. A player, you make $100,000 from a player. Player decides, usually family. Honestly, the truth is, it's not usually the player, the family.
Usually family
says, "Fuck him, he didn't do anything."
Right.
We'd have got that million anyway. Yeah. We'd have got that million anyway from them.
Well, Shane
got us $2 million. I ain't paying him 100 G's. Okay. Now what? Now what?
I talked to Carl
You're
Bond.
Spend 100 G's trying to collect that money.
Yeah, that's true.
I talked to Carl Bond. I talked to Julius Trench's Dave. They have guys who are Division I FBS prospects, 10th grade. Why wouldn't you take them and try to get them NIL money?
Nope. You know what I would call
because you don't think you
get
get
Drew Rosenhaus. Hello, Drew. He'll go. Are they signing with Alabama, Tennessee? Yes, they're signing with one of those schools. He'll go. Okay, I'll give him my number. We'll send them to a guy who does this every single day, who has 10 guys working for him. Now,
I think you could
get better service from a smaller agent like me? Absolutely.
Right.
You're a big. Personal. It's more personal, but you need a guy.
But for Rutgers, for the Jersey kids that are going to Rutgers, why?
There is a guy that does it in Jersey, actually.
Why, but I'm saying, why couldn't you do it?
I don't want to do it.
Purely because you don't want to. Okay.
I have no desire to be in.
But you don't think you could have success doing it?
I used to call it bad money. Okay, meaning bad money. Dude, let me explain to you what would have to happen for you to land a deal. Okay, it could be look. I could tell you this: if my son is that good, I now know how to handle everything because I've been. If he becomes that kind of a player, I know what to do because I was an agent, and I know how the players think about it as well. Yeah, okay, so I would know how to handle it the right way. Now I would be easy to deal with because I understand all those things, and I would know what the value is, and I would find the right guy for it, whether it was a big agent or a small agent. I would find the right guy. Most people don't know who to go to. Okay, and you're right. There are a lot of people that probably say, "Oh, Dave, I would go to you because." Well,
I just think because of the connections you have.
Here's what happens, though. Here's what happens. This is exactly what's going to happen. You go and you represent somebody, and you negotiate an NIL deal. Let's say with Bleeding Blue for a kid. For a kid, he's coming to UConn, and he gets X amount of dollars, and you have a contract with him, and you're going to get paid X percentage of that. Okay, so. That player is going to go to UConn. When he goes to UConn, the second he gets an NIL deal, every agent in America understands that he's getting an NIL deal. And they're all calling him saying, I can get you more than Dave got you. Absolutely.
I just
absolutely. They're all going to call.
There's no protection.
Jerry Maguire was not based off of fiction. That was based off of reality. Like
I just thought the agent had more protection.
You know who I could represent and get. You know the kids I coach in my youth program. If a few of those kids went on and went and played Division I,
Brock, you get Brock.
I've been around those kids since the time they were kids. Yeah, I know their parents and I hang out with their parents. Yep. I could probably represent. Yep. Okay.
But so you're saying,
maybe the next town over who might know me and that kind
of thing. I think you're pretty well known, but you're saying you wouldn't do it purely because you think you would get poached. You'd get a kid a deal and then he'd get called by 5 other agents.
I don't like the feeling of being because
there's no rules.
Yeah. There are people that don't mind it. Me personally, I don't like the feeling of somebody looking at me and saying, I don't think you're doing a good enough job when you are doing a good job. Now, there are some appreciative people.
that pissed me
Tim
off.
Boyle was very appreciative.
That's the
Trey
competitive
Edmonds
aspect.
was very appreciative. They were great people. Okay, Adam Feen was great. Nate Wozniak, who was in the league for a few years, I'd stopped being an agent, but he was I helped him get his next agent. Okay, they were great guys. Okay, great guys. So those guys would not be in that category. You were going to have great guys. You represent great families, and their families were great. I really, really, really like. But I'm telling you, for those, what wore me down was not those guys. It was for every one of those guys, there were 5 guys that were completely unappreciated of it.
They wanted more
That
and thought they were
percentage to me, that 20% percentage, like in coaching football, if you do a pretty good job, I would say it's 80-20 the other way. 80% of the people really like what you do, 20% of the people don't. That's a percentage that I can live with if I'm doing the best job I can. I can live with the fact that 20% of people hate me. I could live with 50% of the people hating me.
Right.
It's hard to live with every day with 80% of the people thinking you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
I feel like
even when you get them even the good people, when you get them a contract, even the really good people want more.
Absolutely.
Well, they all do. I get that. Dave, do you think that they'll put some sort of regulation on NIL agents?
Some point
so to speak.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard because college is different. College is not like the NFL where it's really a pure business. They have collective bargaining.
Yeah.
They have,
they have a union. They're protected.
I can't think of his name, but the guy is the head of the union.
DeMaurice Smith.
Half the people, DeMaurice people. Half of them love him, half of them hate him. But DeMaurice Smith has a process of how he goes through everything. Like I always said that, like, I don't care whether you like him or hate him. Hate the union or like the union. There are things I hated about the union. There were things I liked about the union. There was a process to it which helped make the NFL a better place, right? Now, there's some unions that I think are terrible in business. I think the NFL, there's always ways you can improve the union, but for the most part, I think it's helpful to the NFL process, okay? There are unions like like for example, the teachers union, which is like the biggest unions in the world, right? Those unions, there are people that argue it's good. There are people that argue it's bad. There are things that are good about the union in protecting teachers. There are some things that are really, really bad and affect students in education that are bad in the union. Now, I don't know if a teachers union is good or bad. I really don't know the answer to that. But because I'm not in it to every single day, I'm an outsider. But having been in the NFL portion of it, and you know me, I'm a capitalist. So I'm saying this as a capitalist who probably, for the most part, is probably more on the unions aren't that good side of it. But I think there are places where the union is more. I think the NFL, there is a very level of importance that the union. I think at some point for NIL, there is going to be a need for some form of unionization.
Like coal mining. It's at its infancy.
Coal mining.
It's so young.
It's so young. Coal mining, there was no union initially, right? Like you see the songs, like some of my favorite country songs. The Van Leer coal mine, the coal miner, the guy who owned the company, owned the whole town. Shane, growing up in Pennsylvania, even though his town was a coal, you probably know of people that were involved in factories that, basically back in the day, they owned.
Everything was unionized.
Right now, everything's unionized.
Workers, coal miners. Yep.
Like you needed some level of unionization in coal at some point because Carnegie's of the world were basically they basically owned these people, right? I mean, they weren't slaves, but it was a monopoly, right?
Absolutely.
So, but Dave, like with your program that you help with recruits and everything, do they ever ask you about that NIL stuff and ask if you can help with that? I became an agent
originally in the NFL.
Yeah,
people that were coming through my program were like, I'm gonna give you one example. Eric Ebron. Okay.
Yep.
You know who Eric Ebron is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Shane definitely knows
North Carolina.
He played in our
Another
old
one.
war game. Yeah, and you know Michael Dowdy, right, Shane?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know who Michael Dowdy is, Steve?
Yeah.
How do you know who Michael Dowdy is?
Because you said so.
Oh, okay.
Great answer.
Great answer.
I don't know Michael.
So Michael
Well,
Dowdy
you know
worked our events. He was from
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
He I didn't know exactly how his level, but he basically helped raise Eric Ebron. He's friends with very, very good relationship with him. And when Eric Ebron knew his mother really well, when Eric Ebron was coming out, he had come through our camp, coming out of the NFL.
Oh, sorry. I thought the closet.
NFL. So when he played in our old world game, he had come through our programs, and Michael was one of the coaches in our programs. This was around 2013. Michael was looking for an agent. I was not an agent yet, and they were trying to navigate it. Okay, now Eric Ebron ended up signing with Bus Cook, who's one of the biggest power broker. He's Brett Favre's agent. Okay,
yeah.
Bus Cook's a huge agent, but when he was going through that process, he didn't know when he was going on. So I connected him with a few people, like Sports Stars, which is a big agency, a few people, right? And they kind of knew me. And that was kind of how a few other people at that time, Mariota, I had talked to their parents. Right. Okay. I known them. So I kind of had some conversations with their parents about it. And that's when I was like, people were like, maybe you should start doing that. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
And that's kind of how I got it. So the same thing will happen in NIL is happening in NIL. I learned from that process that two things: just because they know you doesn't mean they're going to go with you.
Correct.
And just because they go with you and they know you doesn't mean they're going to enjoy how you represent them. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a positive side to it. I'm making it sound negative. Okay.
No,
there is a positive side to it. I just saw that the negative side was greater than the positive side for me.
The pros and cons. I understand.
You would ask Drew Rosenhaus, who's obviously like almost a billionaire from this. He would see all the positive sides to this. He was originally a University of Miami alumni. That was kind of how originally he would see all the positive sides of it.
Yeah. Right.
I see personally more the negative sides of it.
Well, because I get it, because you would be someone that obviously, like, no one's poaching Drew Rosenhaus.
No, they do. Oh, they poach him.
Oh, they do? He gets poached too?
All the time.
Wow. Holy shit.
Wow. And he poaches people all the time.
No, I could see.
He represents like 150 guys in the NFL.
No, I know he does. I never would think.
Trust me, he has guys that are unhappy.
Right.
Many guys.
Right.
Many guys are unhappy. And somebody's sitting there talking to that guy.
Yep. So I told you how it was going to happen.
But Drew looks at it as I can't speak for Drew because I don't know him that well. But if I were to kind of get in Drew's head, Drew looks at it like I represent 150 guys. Some of these guys are going to be unhappy. Some of these are not. I'm going to keep pushing the envelope and keep representing a lot of stars and get them a lot of contracts. And in the long run, my company's going to be successful. And the guys who are going to like me are going to like me.
Yep.
That's how he look. That's the positive way of looking at it. Yeah. And the guys who aren't going to like me aren't going to like me. And that's fuck them.
As long as you're in the green and you're not in the freaking, on the bottom with the negative numbers, where at the end of the day, they don't care.
He has guys he's friends with. Like Gronkowski loves him.
Yeah.
Like he thinks Drew Rosenhaus is the hands down.
Yeah.
Charles trying to go to the game. Okay, I'm gonna get off right now.
But he doesn't. He doesn't do a lot of NIL, Drew Rosenhaus.
I'll take him right now. All right. Yeah. He does not do. No, he does a lot of NIL. I've seen his.
He does. Okay.
Yeah, I deal with them because they're interested in people doing camps with you and stuff. So I know the roster. He has a lot of guys, and and he's got a lot of college guys. A lot.
Okay. Yeah. The only reason I asked was Shank has some guys and Julius has some guys that are FBS level. So that's why I
Their
asked.
FBS level is not enough to maybe draw a Drew. You know
Well,
what I mean?
no,
Like,
I mean you. I was thinking you.
oh yeah. So for me, like, listen, if I was to ever do it again, I would want a team. Like, I would want to have
do it alone.
you,
Yes.
Shane,
Yeah.
Shank. I would want a team of guys that I know how I would do
go
it,
to work.
but it would have to be a team of guys that were willing to. Basically, you're working for free, dude. Like, it's not like in the NFL. I was working for free until I got that check. Like, that is not for everybody. I'm just telling you.
It's all commission.
Guys are going to go and be like, I'm working for free. Yes, you are. And guess what? You may get fucked over by one of these guys that you're representing. I'm just and get zero.
Yeah.
Like that's the reality of it. I have to go in a minute. I want you guys to continue because you guys have a lot to talk about. But and then I'll you can just when you close out. I'll close out when I'm at the game. But the reality of the situation, and this is a great conversation.
Are you going to a game?
Yeah, I have to take Troy to a game right now. Okay. But the reality of it is really that you need a team, and you need everybody has to understand that the guy who's doing it is going to make the most money.
Of course.
But you have to operate as a team. The truth is you may all get no money, and you all are going to be working for free for a very long time.
For a long time. So you get that first one.
And you're going to be putting in a lot of time. Yeah. I'm just telling you like, I know how it works because I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been willing to do that a lot, so I understand it. If guys who have had jobs, quote unquote, it's going to be hard for them to
it's an adjustment.
Function in that environment.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
It's a hard environment to like. It's not any one particular person, but let's say you were a teacher and you coached. You wanted to do this. It's going to be hard to understand you're not getting a paycheck.
Yes.
It's not. It's very hard.
No, it's right. I mean,
never get a paycheck.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just like me when I started this until I started getting a couple sponsors. I was doing it for free. I wasn't getting money.
It's a hard.
It's tough.
That's hard. Being an entrepreneur is hard. Yeah. Representing people who a lot of times may fuck you over, even if you know them really well.
Right.
Money. Yeah. Okay. Money, big money
changes everything.
Changes the way people think about things.
Absolutely.
I don't change the way I think because of money. Okay, because I've been at the top and I've been at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm saying it changes people. People who haven't had money before.
Yes,
I'm telling you, it changes the way people think about things.
100%.
It's 100%. Very, and having been in it, like I've worked with people that their parents were NFL players.
Yeah,
and it was hard for their kids to understand it.
Yeah.
And their parents were advising them properly.
Right.
Okay.
But the kids.
It's still hard for them to understand it. And now you're pushing it down to a younger age group where 19? Hell fucking no, I wouldn't understand that shit.
No,
I 100% would be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He ain't doing the job. I get it. I mean, in 19, I didn't know shit.
I get it.
What I mean? Like,
I get it.
But I'm telling you, the only way to do it, it can be done if you go formulate a team of 6 or 7 guys that are willing to.
No, I don't want to do it. I thought you would be good.
I'm just making a point.
You would be good at doing it.
There's a way to do it. You got to do it that way, and everyone's got to be willing to go make nothing for a very long time.
I understand. Okay.
And and more than likely, one guy's going to say, "I'm responsible for bringing this guy. I should get more." Yeah. And he's going to get mad, and he's going to leave the group. And those guys are going to be your friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Understood. All right.
And you got to separate. You got to be able to separate and not take it personal.
Those guys are going to be your friend.
That's too hard. Yeah.
All right.
I've been an owner. Shane knows that. I've been an owner of a company. Those guys were my friends, dude.
I know, man.
They didn't get the pay raise they wanted.
Yes.
They didn't get the position they wanted. I'm telling you, they ain't my friends anymore. They don't want to even talk to me.
Yeah. On the dime.
They hate me. Some of them hate me.
Nobody hates you.
They don't know.
They don't hate you.
You know what's crazy though?
I'm telling you, people hate
don't
me.
understand what the work you put in.
And I understand why they hate. I understand from their perspective why they hate.
Yes,
and you don't take it personal, though. No. That's the thing. It's business.
No, it's business. It's business.
But these are guys I enjoyed being around. I'm just telling you. Yeah. There were people that literally, if you were to mention my name to them, they would tell you, "Fuck that guy."
Yeah. He's a dirtbag. He's an asshole.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's the truth. Yeah. Business is how it is, dude. Business.
No, I know.
The NFL taught me. I didn't understand that part until I was in the NFL. Like I always thought, like, why don't they like me anymore? When I was in the NFL, like I learned very quickly why people. It doesn't have anything to do with you personally.
It's just money.
Now, for them, it's personal. They hate you. Yeah, but it's money, man. It's money. Yeah. It's money.
No doubt. Husky Huddle. Are you good at 11 tomorrow, or did you want noon?
Probably earlier is probably better.
Okay.
But I do got to run. I hate, dude. You guys are the best. I mean, if I didn't have to go, I would stay in for 4 more hours, and no one.
I know, right? We missed Thanksgiving.
Go ahead.
Well, let me run.
Go ahead.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
you got it. All right. Talk to you later.
Again, congrats, bro. And
happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
And now there were 2.
And now there's only 2. So who did we not talk about? The Bills and the Jets, really, huh?
Well, I just wanted to get your thoughts again. Daniel Jones gets, first of all, benched. Then he gets cut.
Yeah. Well, they had to do that financially.
They didn't have to do it financially. It was if he got injured, then they wouldn't have been on the hook.
I guess that's kind of where I was going there with that.
But he got all his guaranteed money. They don't owe him anything. He was going to be gone at the end of the season anyway. I thought that he handled it professionally. He handled it well. I think it was a mistake to go to Tommy Cutlets, and you're paying Drew Lock $5 million and you don't play him. I think that's nuts. Yeah. I think Joe Shane and Dayball need to go.
They do.
It's just sad.
Because they put that team in a bad situation. Look at how much money they invested into one position. And then
$180 million, 4-year contract, and 2 years in, he's gone.
Yeah.
And again, like I said to you, if I'm the GM and, we're having a staff meeting with the coaches in July before camp starts, we're going over the roster and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, boys, we got it. This is it. Yeah. We got the squad. We're going to win the NFC East. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. Look at this. Look at all this talent we have. If that's what they said, they all should be shot.
Absolutely. It's not even close. You let like you said earlier, you let your by far best player on the team.
Your only dynamic offensive.
Only exactly. Well said. And probably potential MVP of.
He is. He's in the MVP race, and it was over $3 million. $3 million. That's all it was. It's disgusting.
It is. If it were a quarterback, it wouldn't even be a question.
Nope.
And that's nonsense.
That's why they went with Daniel Jones.
They felt. I truly believe everybody's in this whole mindset of running backs are replaceable. Receivers are replaceable. Look at Cincinnati with the receiver they signed to the extension.
T. Higgins or Hayes or Chase, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Yep.
But both of them, Chase and Higgins, the fact that they kept both of them allows Jamar Chase to get more one-on-one matchups.
Exactly.
You got to worry about Higgins.
Exactly.
They paid that. Now they got to put money into their defense. But my point of that example is,
oh my God,
$3 million is not a lot of money in the NFL.
I didn't even know this. Daniel Jones just got signed.
Oh, he did? By who?
He just got signed an hour ago. By the Minnesota Vikings.
What a great backup to have.
You know what? It honestly is. And Kevin O'Connell, the head coach, resurrected Sam Darnold's career.
Absolutely.
I mean, now the problem is J.J. McCarthy is coming back from injury next year. He was the first-round draft pick.
I'm sure Daniel Jones is probably on a 1-year contract then.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, they're just finishing out his deal now, which the Giants are paying for anyway. Like the Vikings won't pay him anything. Yeah. Everything will come from the Giants.
Dude, but 27 years old. He's probably a great team guy.
He is. He is a great team guy. I mean, he's had some injury problems. You got to understand. He had 4 different head coaches since his time. You know,
yep.
He had McAdoo. He had Shermer, Joe Judge, and now Daboll. He's had different offensive coordinators. So he was never put in a position to succeed with consistent coaching. I think that's huge. You know, you're learning a new system every year. You're never getting comfortable.
Absolutely.
But Darnold, go ahead.
I was going to say real quick, Daniel Jones, the thing about it is he's never been on the practice squad, so he's still potentially – they could pay him whatever he's getting paid, and he doesn't even have to, like, suit up.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and take a roster spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What happened was he cleared waivers, so now he's just going to get paid by the – okay, no, I'm sorry. The Vikings signed him, but they signed him for the minimum. He's going to get paid $375,000 for the remainder of the season, and they're going to put him on the practice squad to start.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yes, because they have a couple quarterbacks right now, and until he learns the system, then they would move him up. Now their concern is he could get signed off the practice squad and go somewhere else. That's what he's worried about.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Vikings will have an opportunity then to match that and activate him.
Yes. But Minnesota's quarterback depth chart is not good. I mean, they have Darnold, then the backup is Nick Mullins and Brett Rippon, and both when they had to play were awful.
Is Brett Rippon Mark Rippon's son?
Correct.
Remember him? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they need a quality backup, and he at least can do that. Yeah. And then it says going into 2025, there's only one quarterback under contract, and that's McCarthy.
Yeah.
Darnold was only on a 1-year deal. Now Jones is, he's on a 1-year deal.
Right.
So he could definitely come back.
Dude, they're in a great position. Minnesota just put themselves in a great position. I personally think really Daniel Jones, you can win with him.
Absolutely. He had
look
dog
at all the ex-Giant football players that are balling right now on other teams. There's like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. I mean, he had dog shit in New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is good. You know what? I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy that's a happy Thanksgiving for him that he got signed.
No doubt about that.
Really good.
Now living in Minnesota, it's a beautiful city, but it's really cold.
Oh, it's cold as hell. But it's
I'm sure feeling warm now.
It's not like Buffalo. I just wanted to check.
Nice segue.
Well, no, I just wanted to check. I didn't know. I don't see Buffalo. Okay. Maybe Buffalo is off this week. Maybe this is their bye week.
They have the Niners.
Oh no, they're playing the Niners. Oh wow. So they got flexed to the night game.
Yeah.
They're playing San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a big one. They're -7 against San Francisco.
But that's at home though.
Yep, they're home. San Francisco's been down. They've been, they've had injury issues. They're 5-6, but they're still in good shape for the AFC West. Because
NFC West.
the NFC West. They're still only a game out, so they could go on a run and come back.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? I mean, Buffalo has just been unbelievable in my opinion.
Josh Allen, I think he's right now. We
he's
talked
the
about
MVP.
Saquon Barkley. I think he's right now. Josh Allen is, in my opinion, I think he's a little bit ahead of Saquon. Yeah, Saquon has maybe more magical plays.
He is ahead of him. Yeah,
but I think Josh Allen. I mean, you look at that run he had against the Chiefs to like seal the deal. That game was a one-score game until he made that run and sealed the deal there.
And you have to remember, Shane, a running back has not won the MVP trophy since Adrian Peterson back in 2010.
Right.
So,
what year was that again?
2010.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 11, but yeah, you're right. 2010.
Maybe it was either 2010 or 2011.
No, you're probably right on that one. I personally think the Bills, that it's at home. The Niners coming from the West Coast, coming off a tough loss with a lot of injuries and playing up in Buffalo. It's starting to get a lot colder here up in the Northeast. I don't see the Niners really pulling this one out, even though if they win this is a big game for the Niners. But this is a opportunity for the Bills to really separate themselves in the AFC against Kansas City, because Kansas City lost again recently.
No, they lost, I think, 2 weeks ago. I thought they won last week, but it was another close one.
Yes, that's right. They made But,
no, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Buffalo beat Kansas City last week.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
But Buffalo the Chiefs are currently, what are they right now? Are they? They beat the Panthers. Barely beat the Panthers.
Yeah, they had the field field goal. They won to overtime to beat them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and they should have lost that game, to be honest.
Yeah, no, and Josh Allen's, I mean, his numbers aren't spectacular.
They're phenomenal, bro. Like they're ridiculous.
Well, I keep forgetting there's 8 weeks left in the season, so yes. Right? You're right. He's got 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 2,500 yards passing. So he easily should have 30 touchdowns and well over 3,000, probably 4,000 yards.
Not 4,000 plus maybe 600 to 800 yards rushing, possibly 600 yards.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's running the ball really well as also. Hell, he was against the Chiefs. He was the leading rusher, 12 carries, 55 yards.
He's got 316 yards rushing.
Yeah,
and Cook is their leading rusher with 596.
Who is pretty dang good too.
James Cook, he's done a good job, and I give him credit. Keon Coleman turned out to be a really good draft pick. I love their tight end, Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
And then the pickup of Amari Cooper, I thought was very ingenious.
I thought that was a great pickup. Amari Cooper is still underrated, man.
Very
older, but that dude's a baller, man.
Very, very. And, losing Stephon Diggs, they never truly replaced him. So Amari Cooper's the guy that has stepped in and done a good job since he's gotten there. I'm just trying to see now where our Jets are.
Those
they're playing Seattle. Oof.
Yeah. It's a home game. So
Seattle's only -2.
Wow. Game.
That's crazy. Seattle's only -2. I figured they'd be more.
I agree.
The Jets are 3-8. Wow.
Yeah.
So they'd have to go on a run to get into the mix. Rodgers has, he's got 20. Rodgers hasn't had a bad season. He's got 2,400 yards passing, almost the same numbers as Allen. got 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
But he's taken 1 million sacks. He's been sacked
Yeah.
26 times.
Dude, and that's the thing is he doesn't have that mobility he used to have, and he's not making the plays in the key situations like he used to do.
No, he doesn't throw the ball downfield. He's only averaging 6.4 yards of completion.
Yeah, and you wonder is that play calling, but at the same time, basically Aaron Rodgers has the ability to check anything he wants to check to.
It could be play calling since his boy Nathaniel Hackett got demoted.
Yeah.
So who knows? But again, like Breece Hall is just underutilized. I mean,
agreed.
632 yards rushing in 11 games. I mean, this guy is a 1,500-yard rusher easily.
Absolutely. And it was kind of ironic when you said they have to go on a run. I was going to say, no pun intended, but truly pun intended, they need to run the ball more.
They do.
I think it'll help with pass protection.
Take the pressure off of Rodgers and that offensive line.
Yes. And it'll create, now teams will load the box up, and it creates one-on-one matchups with Devontae Adams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Garrett Wilson is the leading receiver. He's done well. Alan Lazard, I know, is a Rodgers guy, but he's only played in 7 games.
Yeah.
Breece Hall has 46 catches. My God.
Yeah. So they use him. Aaron's always been known to use his backs.
He likes to throw. He likes to throw the backs out of the backfield. So,
you look at Aaron Rodgers like against the Colts. I was looking at his stats. He 22 of 29. That's awesome.
He played well. He played well. He had the game won. I mean,
he didn't even throw for 200 yards, bro. Like
no,
that's not good.
They don't throw it downfield. They don't throw it downfield.
And I think that's just because they know they don't run the football, so teams are playing. They're playing. Coverage.
They're playing up. They're playing up 100%. So the last thing I will ask you: Syracuse against number 6, Miami.
Yeah,
it's at the Dome.
Dude,
Miami's -11. Miami wins. They go to the ACC championship game.
Yeah.
Syracuse would have their best season since 2017, I believe.
Yeah.
They would be 9-3 with the victory.
That's huge for them. We'll say this:
they're 4-3 in the conference. So, what do you think?
Their Emory, their quarterback that they have, God, I can't think of his name.
Kyle McCord. Yep.
No, not Kyle McCord. Talk about Miami.
Yes, he's outstanding.
Yes, he is. This is going to be a fun game to.
Is it Cam Ward? Is that
Cam Ward? Thank you. Yes, that dude is balling right now. As well. He's a big guy. He's a senior, so and he's athletic as all hell. This will be a fun game to watch because hopefully,
you think it'll be
clicking.
A shootout.
You could see this game possibly being like a 40-30 some kind of a game, or high 30s, mid 30s, and it'll be interesting to see. I think the team who has the ball last, especially with it being at the Dome, there's going to be a lot of orange in the Dome with Syracuse and Miami playing. But the U, I think they pull it out, no doubt. I don't know if Syracuse is at that level yet.
The ACC down. Yeah. I think the U beats the hell out of them because if they're in a barn burner with UConn and winning 31-24 where they could have easily lost, the U could come in there and just thrash them. So
I don't think Syracuse's defense is going to be able to slow Cam Ward and the U down.
No, and traditionally they never have.
Yeah, exactly.
And so lastly, I'll give you UConn and UMass.
Yeah.
UConn is a 10.5 point favorite over UMass, which I also call UMass. And UMass fired their head coach, Don Brown, good old Don Brown, who was a UConn guy, who was a DC for us, did a great job. But I think that UConn's going to go in there, take care of business, and get that 8th win.
I do too. Beat the mass holes.
Yeah.
We've always had a good success against Massachusetts. So I'm with you on that one. I really believe. Heck, we might even cover the spread there, but 10.5. That's a good number. I think.
No, I think we will. I think we will.
Yeah,
they're
I think
so
at
bad.
least a 10-point win there.
My hope is that they start Nick Evers.
Yeah.
Can't believe I'm saying that out loud. But maybe this is the competition where he can finally have a breakout game and
get
show
in his groove and get comfortable and whatnot. Because ball game, definitely going to a ball game.
Yeah.
And I think
and
they need
Joe's
to get Edwards the ball and Skylar Bell the rock. Like those two guys should have at least, Skylar Bell needs at least 15 targets, and Cam Edwards needs to touch the ball at least 20 times.
Yeah, that was the disappointing part. Skylar Bell did have 10 catches.
Yeah.
Cam only rushed the ball like 7 times. They only had 17 rushes.
Even if they use him in the screen game, like we were talking about, man,
they tried a little bit to do that. They tried a little bit to do that. They got the ball knocked down on the screens they ran. But I definitely think that Nick Evers needs to have a breakout game.
Yeah.
And
use his legs. He needs to learn to use his legs, man. He's an athlete.
Like, he's not a Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick athlete, but he can run.
He's good enough.
Yeah, he can pull the ball and go.
Yeah, and he needs to be creative on certain throws as well. Like not every throw is going to be a normal, his throw.
That's why his timing's off. His footwork's not great. I don't like his throwing motion. I think he winds up.
Sure.
He throws a nice fade, but I think his read progression is off. I think he comes off guys too fast or doesn't know which side to go to. So I think that's a big deal. Coverage recognition, knowing who you're going to.
Yeah.
But this is the game that they should take advantage of.
Yeah, I truly believe we have better athletes than they do from top.
We do. This has got to break. Joe Figiano's gone next year. They have a couple freshmen that could be okay, but they're paying Evers. They got him for 2 years.
Yeah,
let's get him going.
Let him play.
Let's get him going.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got to cut it loose and get it going. And
I agree.
There's nothing else we can do. So we'll leave it at that.
No
so this has been Steve Cully's Festivus of Sports. Festivus of Sports. Yes, it's a Festivus for the rest of us.
Absolutely. Thanksgiving Festivus.
Studio 25 Podcast Network. Studio 25 Podcast Network with Creative Outpost and executive producer David Warner. We thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Shane, happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Same to you, brother.
I hope you eat a lot of turkey.
Oh, I'm going to eat a lot of something. Turkey, everything.
I hear you. And again, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them right back at life. All right, beautiful. I got the recording. So I just have to record a new intro and then I can edit it and send it to the guy. Now he's got 2 episodes. So
you want to do the intro now?
I can't because it's on Dave's thing.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so you're going to make a...
Yeah, I'm just going to do... I'll just do an... He only uses audio anyway, so I'll just do an audio intro.
Gotcha, brother.
And he's good about editing it and going right into it. So. But
yeah, right, man.
We'll talk with you. Thank you again.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to get this done, man. I'll see you probably Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to get in the car and make a trip up here. You got to come see us.
Dude, I definitely would love to, want to. It's a crazy time right now. Crazy time.
I know.
The holidays now coming into effect.
I know.
Finally got some things taken care of. I need to take care of from a personal standpoint with other things and yada yada. But
no, I know. But
life is throwing me lemons, and I'm throwing oranges.
No, I know they are. I know it. But Dave and I both believe that they should have you come work with Evers.
Dude, I would love to. I absolutely would love to.
I was going to mention.
I know I can help correct.
Yeah, I know. I was going to mention it to Burton and
have an objective perspective on it too.
Yeah, you know I mean? He needs a true quarterback guy that can work with him in the off season every day.
Yeah.
And I said, pay him $75,000, put him in a dorm somewhere, put him in an apartment.
Let's go.
And you can watch film with him, you can work him out. I mean, absolutely. That's what he needs.
Man, that would be a dream right there.
No, I know. That's what Dave and I were talking about. Because all these quarterbacks have quarterback guru coaches that they work with
right
in the off season. So we don't, and he needs one. Yeah. And we're paying him, and he's with us whether we like it or not. He can't transfer again.
Yeah.
So let's focus on getting him better, and you could easily do that.
Yeah.
And I think Dave definitely should do NIL with all the recruiting.
Yeah, that would be a good move. Hey, so here's our plug to UConn alum. We want to get better next year. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, they watch it. Believe me. I just I definitely think that you can go in there and work with them and get his footwork ready. You can the zone read stuff, the play action, the timing on the 3-step routes. That's all stuff he needs to work on.
Absolutely.
So that's what. And then I think Dave needs to be an NIL guy.
Yeah.
Anyone can do. I'll do it, but I think with the contacts he has, I think I didn't know they poach people like that. I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that. Hey, listen, brother, I'm going to get going myself. I got to get ready. I'm heading out here in about 30, 40 minutes.
Have a happy Thanksgiving. I talked to Carl Bond. He wants to do the show.
Awesome.
Really excited about it.
Yeah.
They're playing today, and then they're in the playoffs.
That's right. They're a Thanksgiving game.
But he's got 10 good kids who can play.
Nice.
And he would want to feature, and we can do that.
Yeah.
So, and then if you know of anyone else, that's a show that could do really well, and make money. I really believe that. So, I think that's a great idea from him, and we'll do it.
Awesome,
all right.
Man. All right.
All right. I'll text you. You take care.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Say.